know you're looking at me. I know you're looking at me.
Nice.
I know you're looking at me. 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 I know you're looking at me.
Hello, welcome to the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019 Fall Split. I'm joined here today with John Allen, the lovely and beautiful. We are covering South Asia. Today, you really need to be careful because you need to get an amazing smartphone for amazing PUBG games. The Vivo 17 Pro is the official smartphone of PMCO. Fall split in Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka.
With multi-turbo acceleration technology, cold start speeds increase 25%, 8GB of RAM, 128GB of ROM, with dual engine fast charging. The V17 Pro never hesitates.
And not to mention, it feels great in the hands too. John, we're doing South Asia Day.
Oh,
We're covering the PMCO 2019 Fall Split. I feel good. Do you feel good, man?
I feel great. It's great to be back here. Of course, I covered the Indian region in the previous split. Of course, now that's expanded. We've added new countries, added new groups to it, which should increase the competition.
Absolutely. Obviously, we had 16 teams re-qualifying from last season. We got 16 new teams. There's some fresh blood in there as well. So we're ready to take these games today to the absolute limit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to see a lot of these returning faces. A lot of the players, if you watched the last season, you will be familiar with. There has been some chopping and changing. Some people have moved hither and thither, and we'll have to see how that's going to go for them over the course of these next coming weeks. But it should hopefully be a lot of great PUBG Mobile.
So now we've got the competition system on the screen for you here. Now, obviously, the group stage, there will be 24 matches. You'll be 4 groups in front of you. That is a total of 32 teams. 24 teams will advance through to the semi-finals, Group E, F, and G. And then top 16 will go through the regional finals, where they will duke it out to find the champion.
Of course, 2 groups will be playing today, and then every day it will be 2 new groups. So every team will have a chance to play every other team here. It's going to be great.
And here are our new ranking scores. Obviously, number 1 place, getting that winner chicken dinner will give you 20 points. Going down 14, 10, 8, and 7, then downwards from there.
Yeah, and what's really interesting to me there is the 11 to 16 plateau. Obviously, that changed from last time. So you need to be trying to hit 10 and above. You need to be climbing the ladder there, because those kill points at the lower end are going to matter all the more as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that kill point, obviously, that sweet 1 point, those can rack up very quickly. Obviously, in the global finals, we saw XUF get a 20-kill game, which was crazy. And we got our group. We got Group A. We got Destoryer, ETG.Brawlers, Xspark Official, Hype, MegaX, KO, MegaStars. And in Group B, we have over there Mayhem, INS, GODLIKE, SOLTISQUAD, Entity Gaming, IND, Portal Esports, and to finish it off, Orb Official.
I think that is on Group A. It's not 2 Xbox. It is RIP Official. On the previous one, so we'll get that fixed. But yeah, these are the teams that you're going to be seeing. IND obviously went to those prelims last time around. Entity Gaming, another name that you should be familiar with if you're familiar with certainly Indian and South Asian esports in general. One of the bigger orgs over in India, so great to see them coming back as well.
Absolutely. Anyway, India is a really, really good region. They have a lot of star talent. There's a massive following over in India as well for PUBG Mobile. So you know they've got some of the top players around coming to compete in the PMCO 2019 Fall Split.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to be incredible overall. I really like the way India plays. It's very reserved. And there's a lot of fighting going on there as well.
Yeah, it's great to see. Obviously a highly competitive scene coming forward. So hopefully everyone's going to be able to put their best foot forward. What we saw at the start of the last season was that India in general was quite heavily compound based. Now, towards the end of the split, they started to move away from this meta. They started to structure themselves slightly better, be able to play the terrain more. So hopefully in the gap between the previous split, they've watched the other regions, they've taken on board all that information, they've been able to influence their own gameplay and come out with a better situation in the end.
So if you guys want to also influence your own gameplay and take it to the max level, you can download PUBG Mobile on the Google Play Store or the App Store at home. So definitely get playing, guys. But we're going to get over the game right now and see where that playing path is taking us.
Yeah, we're going to be starting over on Erangel. It will be the first up, of course. It's the only place where you can start, really.
Oh yeah, it's the class eco.
Absolutely. 8 by 8 kilometers, plenty of stomping ground for 16 teams. One town each, you can go around that way. We'll see who's going to be able to come out on top.
Are you sure they do have the unique weapon there, the DP? That is an absolute monster of a weapon in PUBG Mobile. It has been one of the mainstays, right? Because the recoil is very easy to handle, and it just laser people down if you put that 4x on it.
Yeah, we are going to be looking at the plane path, going northwest to southeast. Isolating Primorsk, isolating down near Quarry. It's going to be pretty difficult for a couple of teams to maybe go over down that way. Military is actually quite a late drop here, so it does have its own risks associated with trying to pull that location. Yasnaya, very viable. South George, certainly viable. We'll see who's going to be able to drop that and compete for that spot. Really, really strong for them.
You're already seeing a lot of teams coming out right now, John, so it does look like South George will be heavily contested. Is there a specific playstyle strategy you need to keep in mind here?
In terms of South George, it depends where you drop in South George. In general, find a vehicle, zone it away, and try and pick off some of the other teams that you find yourself pretty close to. If you're fighting in crates, that's not a situation you want to be in, right? You want to be trying to alter that up. North George as well, heavily viable here. Because of the early drop there, it means that you can go, but it's only one team we're seeing go that way. It's Orb, who seem to be wanting to find that position at the moment. MegaStars over up near Severny. Team IND trying to take that central part of the map, and that's a really decent shift for a lot of these teams, because remember, with the plane path being early, that South George is going to be all the easier to compete for. You don't necessarily need to find a vehicle as early.
No, not at all. So they can really chill up there for a very long time, and that means that a lot of teams can acquire a strong compound route and stay in it till near the late game and just get very heavily geared. Already saying TD Anash, he will be dropping into a car, working around, make sure he's near that bridge to cross it when the time does come. So obviously with that circle up in the top left side, we are going to see an interesting movement from these guys in the bottom right corner. But what I thought was quite funny is that no one went to Rozhok at all. They were like, that's the middle of the map. Probably everyone's going to go there. We're going to avoid it. So everyone seems to have the same idea in mind. But you will now see a couple of teams are making their way up that way. But military base is actually being occupied by 2 teams currently. You can't see them on the screen right now, but they're chilling down there for the time being.
They should be able to make that rotation as well, and they should be able to do it pretty effectively. Looking at, as you say, at where these teams are is very interesting, right? Because this is right at the start of a new tournament. It's right at it's the first time all of these teams will have played each other in this full format. They will be trying to feel each other out, trying to figure out where everyone is. You can see, 2 teams in Yasnaya. They're looking to actually try and compete for it, and taking this fight early is actually quite interesting to me, because normally we wouldn't see that later into the tournament. What they're saying is, no, we're dropping Yasnaya. You guys shouldn't come Yasnaya because we're here. But at the moment, everyone's still competing for it. Salty and Entity all just vying for that position.
Yeah, Salty Gaming, Entity Gaming, both in very close proximity of each other right now. Obviously, Neo took a couple of shots. Did get that smoke early, so can drop that down and make the easy cross there. I actually like the play that Cash went for there in the beginning. He dropped down, he got a scar, and he got that immediately. It's what a lot of players will do in game. They want to get that assault rifle as quick as possible and then try and head out and get a kill with it. Didn't quite come through this time, but Salty Gaming, they look like they do have their eyes on Entity for the time being.
Well, they both know each other are there now. What's interesting is Entity have actually sent a player out all the way to the east of this town at the moment, and now they have a really good surround on SOLTISQUAD to try and see where they're going to be able to exit from Yasnaya. That's really going to be crucial, because of course the circle isn't on them. They're going to have to move away, so they want to be able to see where is SOLTISQUAD going to exit. Are they going to go south? Are they going to move away? They will have the vision lines to be able to see that now, so moving their players out wide, Entity Gaming with a really strong position.
It's very much a game of chicken now, isn't it, really? Who makes the first move straight out? But here is Crates, and like you said, John, it's not a place where you want to be caught with your proverbial pants down. And as you can see,
this is in Novo on the military island.
Yeah, you've got Crates over here, right? So obviously, these lads, they've taken control of it quite early. We've not seen any kills come through, so they are going to have the pick of the litter here with all the loot involved.
Yeah, they should be pretty happy with that. There was a team pretty close to them, obviously trying to vie for that spot, but they have moved away. You can see Ronak there on the screens. That's, of course, Xspark, the newly formed team. Oasis and Ronak, of course, formerly of Team Soul, teaming up with Scout and bringing on Paratosh and In Your Dream to be able to form what should be a really, really strong squad into this season. I mean, Oasis was top fragger for Soul last time around. Ronak, demon with a sniper, should be able to land those shots. And, I mean, you know, Ronak, and Scout as well, really, really heavy fragger for his team he was playing on last time.
Yeah, they've got a huge amount of experience on this team overall. So they had half the team in global finals, and obviously they've probably been giving a lot of good advice. And Paratosh, a name that we have heard of before. But again, we're back to Entity over here, still just chilling around. And SOLTISQUAD just trying to get a beat on them all the time. But like you said, there's the player on the right-hand side from Entity Gaming just waiting them out. He will hear them coming, and then he can give the go signal to the team on the other side, which actually gives a massive advantage because they will get that first peak advantage on them.
Information gathering is where it's at. Look at the skin on that car. That's stylish.
Ooh, very spicy indeed.
Take me to the river and swim through that one. That's a nice little shark fin on the top there. I like it. RIP official. Look like they're just exiting South George crates at the moment. Trying to get it. Of course, Team Spark still over on that military island. This first circle doesn't apply a lot of pressure. It is just a little bit slow moving forward, so you will have plenty of time to loot. You can see that, you know, Ronak's been able to get those three first aids on board. That's about the minimum you want to be carrying. About 3 to 6 is like the sweet spot in terms of those first aid kits. If you get a med kit, all the better. And you want to be as many stims as you can, really.
Full HP is always nice to have, really, in the pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Just have that one in the back pocket, be able to get that out whenever you want.
Yeah, there is one other team over in military base at the moment, but it looks like they are making the cross for the time being. SOLTISQUAD taking the first knock here. AJ, the first victim of the PMCO 2019 fall split for South Asia. So obviously that information gathering definitely was very, very good for Entity Gaming overall. A man over in the corner there can take these off shots as well, take the off angle on Salty, and now really as that player's down, it's time for Entity to start getting a little bit of a better positioning. Out comes the nade.
They are pushing forward just a little bit, but whilst they're throwing those nades back and forth, at the moment in the circle, MegaStars are going to be pretty happy. They're over by Severny. Over in North George, you've got Orb as well. They should be pretty happy, pretty much alone on the northern side of the river. RIP official are holding around the bridge over on the western side, and that western coast as well occupied by 2 teams, which should be a little bit more difficult. At the moment, though, the rotation coming from Lipovka has started to go over to the north of Georgia Pole, and everyone is starting to move towards this circle as a team to beat military island as well.
Indeed. We're still just seeing this engagement time being, but like you said, John, a lot of teams now making their way up into the circle. We're starting to see some teams getting a bit crunched here. Aman actually was on the roof for a minute then, but came back down, and SOLTISQUAD look like they have regained the composure for the time being, John. Just holding behind the puzzle pieces buildings, but look at this. Entity's now moving Neo over towards Aman. Obviously you've got this 2-2 split, so if SOLTISQUAD do make this hard push onto Aman and Neo, potentially the advantage here, but really what Entity are looking to do here is crunch them on 2 sides.
Have we gone back to 2018, Salty, all loading up in the same vehicle?
This is a bad idea.
No, this is a terrible idea. This is exactly, you'd never do this. Never ever do this, SOLTISQUAD. Bad. Stop it. Stop it at once. You should never be rotating in the same vehicle. There's plenty of vehicles in South George. You should, in Yasnaya. You should be able to pick up more than one. Rotating in the same vehicle gives you, it exposes you so poorly. If the vehicle blows up, you are all dead. You are all dead. If one of your vehicles blows up on a rotation in a convoy, like you can see on your screens now, only one player goes down, you lose 1 maximum. If you just get sprayed out, that's it. You lose so much HP, you lose so much pressure, and it's never a good idea. It's only a last-ditch attempt that you should do that.
Indeed. But now Salty, it's okay now, Don. They have found themselves an additional vehicle.
Oh, I can rest easy.
You can rest easy now, dude. But look at that. IND taking it to Xspark there. Obviously, a lot of players going down quite quickly. So Xspark, although we thought they had a pretty good rotation coming through all the way on the right-hand side, on the east side of the map, they are having a bit of difficulty now.
Yeah, just to note, it was only 1 player that did go down because they were rotating in a convoy. That's why. Good job, Team Xspark. They're going to be moving forward. You can see they still got 3 players alive, but everyone's grouping up now around to the east of South George and just over towards that ruins location on that shoreline.
The tune's going into the vehicle right on the UAV. But
Alan Walker, great song.
Right, bloody brilliant, mate.
Yeah, it was. He performed it live at the Berlin Global Finals last time around.
It was good.
I was there. Good. It was amazing live. It was really, really good.
So now teams are gravitating towards Rozhok now. We got a little bit of a standoff here with RIP holding in the Harry Potter Tower, but look at this on the right-hand side. We got another team coming through. For the time being, it's just KO. Veggie over here, just chilling out. He's vegetating a little bit. He wants to blend in with the grass and the trees. I'm not sure it's working. He's very low HP, so it doesn't
I'm pretty sure he's down.
Yeah, he's going out.
Yeah, he's going down. The next circle has popped. It's a little bit northern side of the river, so people might want to look for those rotations. Entity, they're finally leaving Yasnaya now. They are only 2 to a vehicle. This is okay. This is fine. You can see the other 2 aren't actually in the vehicle. I think they rotated just a little bit earlier. Yeah. They're ahead of the game for now. They are just going to heal up in the zone. Team Xspark, you can see they've escaped with 3. They're going to be moving over to that southern side of the riverbank and trying to find their spot into the next circle, as everyone's just sort of now jostling to try and find that spot. No teams have gone down yet, but we have lost 3 players so far into the lobby. We're 10.5 minutes in.
Yeah, for Team Xspark, you're not super happy about losing a player, but it's not the end of the world for them. They still have a very good chance here, and they are moving through some great flatlands to get towards their location, their destination. Tempest here playing a little bit of a dangerous game. There are players on the right-hand side of him, but he has a lot of cover here playing from the bank, so potentially picks up a kill here, but it looks like it is just posturing for the time being.
Yeah, the reason
Out comes a vehicle.
Oh yeah, Scout is almost certainly done. The tire pops on that. The rest of the team could just volley in. Ooh. Easy pickups there. Scout's going to go down. The reason that Tempest can hold on this side of the bank is that his team is at his back. If anyone tries to challenge him from the other side...
Oh! That was dirty.
Nice, nicely done, nicely finished off. But so the reason he can be there, the rest of his team will be able to hold the other side. They're going to be looking out for those angles. If there is someone who does come on through and tries to challenge them from the back, he can push up under the bridge. The rest of the team can deal with the threat. So really nice positioning coming out.
Yeah, absolutely great positioning. He was on the bank and he'd just been cashing in the kills there, so he's very happy with it. A little bit worse for wear now as Team Xspark. I said you were not super happy losing 1, but you are really unhappy with losing the 2 now. Things get very, very difficult towards the final circle. Looks like teams are now finding their compounds and trying to chill out in them. We do have a team all the way in the bottom eastern side of the map, still not made their way up towards Rozhok area.
Yeah, it's ETG.Brawlers there. Yeah. Still in the circle. They're on that southwest side, see if they're going to be able to find some footing. Of course, Insidious, a very, very strong team from India. We saw last time around. They were consistent in the group stages, in the semifinals as well last time. Top fragging, top scoring. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite get it out at the finals and see what they could achieve. Unfortunately, I think the live nerves did get to them a little bit. They did underperform, it has to be said, but hopefully this time around they're going to be able to have a little bit of redemption into this. Cartoons in this team, super, super strong frag. I think one of the top in the tournament so far from the last season. So hopefully the rest of his team will be able to volley around. Smokey, IGLing there. Whoa, what a shift on the circle.
That is a big yoink towards Severny Yasnaya. Rozhok's still in it for the time being, so the uninhabited location now becoming the habited now. INS, though, I really like the position they've got from them. They've got all the vehicles they need to move out, and GODLIKE, trying to take the fight, but realizing, you know what, this is not a good positioning for us at all. Like, they have high ground cover, and INS seeing that they are leaving, trying to get some high ground. You would imagine that they would try and change their positioning here before they move towards the circle a little bit more, but I think they're pretty happy with the plane crash for just this part of the match.
A lot of clockwise rotations starting to come in around this circle. Everyone trying to move over to that northern side. Of course, it will be less occupied. The MegaStars haven't had to move the entirety of this game. They've been pretty happy. They've been just lurking around in Severny. But as you say, that the scars in the earth formed by this plane crash are providing brilliant cover for Insidious. The top of this hill is really, really strong for them. They're going to be really happy with holding it for now. They are right on the western side of the circle, however, so it could prove tricky if teams start to come on through. ETG.Brawlers, by the way, in the meantime, they have made it into the circle, but they still have to get to the next one as well.
They've been taking a while on it, but yeah, like you said, they're not dead yet, so it remains to be seen before they get into the circle and they take a firefight, so we'll wait after that. But so far, INS just raking in the kills and the knocks so far. They have a really good position here with a hard cover inside the plane as well, should they need to take any healing at all. Looks like now they are just going to reposition a little bit further up towards that plane crash itself.
Yeah, they're trying to just keep those vehicles in the next circle, so when they do need to bug out,
they don't have to run back towards them.
Exactly, they don't have to run into the zone, more crucially.
Fumbling for keys in the pocket.
Hypeg. Over on the western side, they're now crossing the bridge over towards Georgopol. They're outside of the circle. They will have to try and find a little spot going forwards. But from now onwards, it's going to be very difficult for teams to stay out in the blue. It's pretty much, it's a risk at this stage, but into the next circle, it's pretty much impossible. You do need to find a footing, and you need to find it fast. In about 2 phases time, that's when we're going to start to look at a lot of these teams dropping. We saw it last time around with how the circles fall, 16 teams, how they come together. It just seems to be that normally around phase 5, phase 6, that's where you see about half of the lobby start to go down.
Yeah, because you can't hide out in the blue anymore at all. You have to come, show your face. That's exactly what Hype's doing now. They are out in the circle, far away, out there in Georgopol currently, and they're all in vehicles trying to razz it towards that circle, make their way in there and plant the flag, really. But as you can see on screen, teams are now just trying to take these positions in the compounds, try and use that TPP advantage, looking through the windows there. But now we've got a standoff here. You've got IND versus PES right now. Just holding it down. This is going to be a little bit of a difficult compound to crash because there really isn't any close side to this compound, is there, John?
No, it is going to be pretty tricky. The next circle has just appeared right in the center. I was going to say that at the moment, my money is on MX in terms of positioning. With the next circle, I would double that up. I would double down on that. You can see they're in a really, really good spot. They've got a road to their back, which means that approaching from that side is really, really dangerous because there's so much open ground to try and cross for Rip Official if they do try and go for that push. And then they can just cover all of the other angles. So MX right now, MegaX, are going to be really happy with their spot. They should be able to defend it. Let's see if they're able to.
I think MegaX, yeah, like you say, great position there, and they have all players to cover those angles too. As you can see on the screen, people are just driving past each other without a care. They know they need to get into that circle, and they're very happy to leave INS behind in that compound.
Team IND now rotating in. They want to try and vie for a spot on this hill. It is pretty heavily populated. A lot of teams moving a little bit further up north. But they have found themselves a little bit of a tree line to try and fight from. GODLIKE obviously in the compound ahead of them. Will be able to hold down a little bit stronger. But they've got the hard cover from the trees. They should be able to have a pretty decent shout into the next one. 16 teams still alive as we move towards phase 5.
Entity, as we saw before, their enemies left pretty quickly, and now they have made it into the circle. Just got a quick knock as well, so it looks like they have decent position.
Yeah.
Mega final boss. He is the mega final boss. He's the final boss after you kill the final boss.
He's the final form.
Yeah,
he's the
he
mega final boss.
So, like you said, John, here comes the kills. They're rolling on through. This is when the lobby starts to thin itself out.
Yeah, Insidious actually taking pretty heavy casualties. They've got a really tricky spot to try and hold. They're right on the western side of the circle. If they were playing a little bit softer on the edge, I think we've just seen our first team go down. Yeah, that's Rip Official. They did get collapsed on. A team did come around the back of them as well and try and take them away. But at the moment, the southern side of the circle being heavily vied for, the western side as well. A lot of teams crunching in, and at the moment, MegaX, they're just sitting pretty still, right in the middle, with very little contestation.
Indeed. They've got a great position, John. It's very hard to get out of there.
That's Team Spark going out.
Yeah, SOLTISQUAD just ripped them to shreds. Xspark, that's very unfortunate. We predicted big things from them, but it looks like they kind of just fumbled a little in the early game, losing that one player, which led into just more and more casualties on the team. But their entity, Neo, he's come back. He's come back to get SOLTISQUAD, revenge from before. So yeah, I'll take that one down.
Sure. Orb Official, really, really close. Cartoons, I think he knows something's up. See if he's going to be able to get anything done. We saw it before as well. Portal Esports still there. Oh dear, another down as well for Team INS. They're going to really struggle. Just Cartoons really left standing. There's no way he can really go for Smokey at this stage. He might try and... Oh, no, he's been spotted. He's been spotted. Yeah. Oh, they're not quite able to land the shots. He's going to be able to heal up. Okay, lucky him.
The worst part about this, John, is that someone knows his position, and everyone's shooting at this as well. We'll see the shots on the floor, and they know that he is here. So really, he was relying on his position not being compromised. But look now, Max looking up, but he immediately pops the head. Lead's flying at him.
All right, let's get it done. Cartoons, though, he is going to stay alive for now. Max Cash not having a peep in just yet. Next circle leaves MegaX right on the edge. They might just be able to hold that same spot as before, but for now, it's going to be a land grab over towards the hillsides into the next zone. You can see there is actually a loot crate right on the southern side of that circle, so teams like Orb, Maybe even actually team... no, wait, Ronak's still in? Okay, they weren't eliminated. I thought that Xspark were eliminated in this game, but it seems like they still have a
knock,
shout going forwards. Yeah, no, they are still going forwards. Salty, though, maybe in a better spot. GODLIKE still can rotate in.
Mad Dog!
Oh, dear.
He doesn't know! He doesn't know!
Or we might do.
Kratos! Is he ready to drop the hammer on the man over the side? Is it the pan? Oh, it's the nade! Oh, no, it's just a smoke, just a smoke, just a smoke. He doesn't know. He does not know the Mad Dog lies.
Oh, dear.
Are they just going to leave him?
I think they might. That's so,
oh, they've given him a smoke as well.
That's so good for him.
Is this a 5-player team? What are we seeing here?
Seems like it. Mad Dog just
so calm.
Keeping himself on the leash for now.
So calm, yeah.
Well, this is phase 5. The circle's pushing in. This is where the density of players is going to be so tricky. Look at him go. He's so sneaky. Ooh. They've let a sleeping dog lie. But he's pretty mad about it.
I mean, there's probably sweat dripping off the forehead. You can be sure of that right now. Kratos, though, already taking a lot of fire from GODLIKE in front. Croton, I think he is down for the current time, but PES also coming on GODLIKE as well, so there's a lot of battles going on here, but they just cannot push into GODLIKE. They're holding down this compound like an absolute champ for the time being.
Yeah, there we go.
Through comes the nades, though. And the shots, too. PES in a little bit of a hard situation right now.
Oh, there's Xspark finally going down. They are going to go out. Portal Esports. Getting the reses off. 2 of them are down.
Christ alive.
Seems like they're actually going to be able to get it done. All those smokes are fading. This could be risky. They are going to still be in with it, but another team has dropped as well. Of course, that was Team Spark before. GODLIKE still hitting the shots. They're still going, mate.
This is incredible. They're fending off 2 teams at the same time. They've got a man outside too, just holding on the UAV. He has full information. There's a spray. Honda's down.
He's going to be able to get it done, holding it down like a champ, as you say. He's got the rest of his team at his back, and Portal Esports are really not having a great time of it for now.
Portal Esports, they wish they had a portal right now. They want to get away. Croton's actually taking another, but PES, he fires back with a DP.
That's it.
But GODLIKE will finish them down.
Portal Esports are going to be eliminated. GODLIKE holding that compound. They're still on the southwestern side of the circle. They are in the zone, but they do need to leave now. They have got their player on the outside, which is going to make that exit all the easier. But at the moment, I'm looking at MegaX. They do need to leave their compound as well. They've had it easy up until now, but they're right on the edge. We'll have to see whether next circle is going to push them. They still haven't found Mad Dog. He's still going. He's still just chilling. And IND are just giving... Oh, no, he's going to spot that.
No, he didn't.
Surely he didn't.
Come on, Slayer.
Oh, my goodness.
It's in your namesake. You've got to take him down, son.
No
Mad Dog's
way.
still there. He's not even taking the backpack off.
I cannot believe that he didn't spot that. That is insane.
This is a monumentous moment. Mad Dog just chilling. Does not want to do anything right now.
The next circle has popped southeast. Everyone from that northwestern side, the heavily contested side, will have to start to move on forwards. That is a really difficult shift, especially for Mad Dog. He's going to have to try and rotate underneath Team IND.
This man's got the confidence on this guy, the cojones to just stay there, not moving, knowing there is a team of 4 directly over the rock. This guy is literally free soloing right now.
He's solo squadding there. That's what he's doing. 11 teams remain into phase 6. Everyone's going to have to make this hard shift now. Team IND, they're on the edge of the circle. They have the blue at their back, and they are going to have to move. Kratos taking a lot of heavy damage.
This is where Mad Dog, he has to make a move, right? And I think there are so many of the storylines going around here. SOLTISQUAD also taking down GODLIKE, and they've done a great job to stay into it. But can Mad Dog just stay here? He is now
Do you think he can jump in the vehicle? If he gets in?
It will be. Oh no, he's actually taking the shot!
Oh, he's not quite able to get the knock. First one, swaps weapon, looking for Slayer. Slayer just able to get away from it, though. That's going to make Mad Dog's rush, though, a little bit more tricky. They're going to know he's there. Puts his guns away and makes the mad dash.
IND got to be kicking themselves after that one, knowing that there was a player right there the whole time. MX, though, look, they're in a tough position. The smokes aren't covering them for the time being, but NYM, in the backside, they have the hill for cover. They will be looking at Entity on the left side of them for the time being. But to me, IND in a fairly good situation, despite not knowing that Mad Dog was there the whole time.
He's still going. He's still in there. So these are smokes coming out now. They're covering
I promise
his
I'm a
rotation.
4-man team. Look how many grenades are going off.
Well, I mean, if he's picked up the nades from the rest of his team, fair enough. He's still going for the shots onto IND. He's got it out for them. He's out for blood. The Mad Dog will not go without a fight, but it's Entity to actually shut him down in the end. They're going to be able to hold that side. MegaX are still in it. They have a smoked position. Mayhem are at their back, however, so they do need to be careful. Entity up the hill as well. Need to watch it out. Cartoons still crawling around, solo into the squads as well. 7 teams remain blank. There's a nade.
There's a nade. Doesn't quite take down Cartoons though. Still healing from the massive amount of stims he has been injecting into himself. Cloak there actually on top of the loot crate as well, so he has some hard cover from that. We should help him as he's trying to push up this hill. Also, we'll have the loot inside it. It's not just cover, guys, I promise. But MX surprisingly still alive in this situation despite being surrounded by so many teams.
Yeah, the curvature of this hillside really playing to their advantage here. Entity don't really want to take the fight down the hill because they would have to expose themselves at the moment. And of course, Mayhem, they don't want to push around either for the same reasons. And you can see the defilades of this hillside really playing up for them. And they have got that flying V formation on the vehicles. They have exploded, so they have got a decent amount of cover.
Yeah, so they have cover from in front. Paradox being the front scout right now. Mayhem lobbing the nades over the top. It's a bit far-fetched, but Cloak, yeah, look from the loot crate, does get the ghillie, so he can safely sneak in here. Doesn't have the backpack on either. Finds Paradox, takes him down, and then straight back to the floor.
I think Cartoons got chimed in as well, getting a knock, but he gets spotted out. Cloak goes down from the back entity. Coming in again, third-partying a fight.
That's another ghillie suit there, but that's not good for them whatsoever. Mayhem, they had to take that advantage of the ghillie suit being able to snake in, and taking such an early play like that, maybe not the best idea for them. Now really
he's getting naded.
He has to come back.
Oh, they are just lobbing him in. He is crawling as fast as his little elbows will carry him. Look at him go. He has to pop up. Has to go for the spray. Looks at Paradox. Isn't going to be able to get a point on board. Confirms the kill. Nicely done for his team. 5 now remaining. This is where the points start to add up for placement.
Although ID couldn't quite sniff out the Mad Dog in front of him. It looks like their eyes are actually pretty damn good as they're spotting out these players one by one. Now into the vehicle, moving a little bit forward. They want to keep this for protection, but 2 go down. Snacks making a meal out of them.
He is going to be chomping away, chowing down. Still up and kicking as well. Kratos goes to the jewel. The AKM finds 1-2 bullets, but not going to be able to finish it just yet. The vehicle blows up. Team IND lose that rotation ability. They're being pushed by the blue. No way that he can be able to get up his teammates. So Kratos now the lone wolf for his squad. Mayhem now trying to push up. Salty still in with it at the top side, but it looks like they're going to get spotted out in the whole of this course of action, though. Entity have been really strong. One goes down, however. Salty still not going down without a fight.
Yeah, Salty Squad have been on the heels of Entity all this game, and Entity have been slowly pulling them apart one by one. But we'll find revenge on Neo there. Mayhem coming over the top. It's Cloak. Snacks drops out some precautionary fire. Stay back, my friend. But Entity,
he's going to hit the blue.
They look like in a great spot. And Snacks, I don't think he makes this. He's going to try and crawl for his dear life. Actually survives.
No way did he manage to get away from that. He's on. No, he's not. No.
He's in. He's got a medkit as well.
I cannot believe this. That is insane from Snacks. MegaX are going to be super proud of him. Nicely done. Mayhem down the hill. Does he have a nade? That's the question. I don't think that Nima wants to try and go for this fight just yet. You can see Entity now starting to smoke up. They know they need to go for this next push. It is super open. At the moment, Mayhem, they have the advantageous spot. The next circle will be zoning towards Entity, however.
Yeah, an Entity that they have a tree to play over course and downhill. It will be a man slipping up for just a second. Take some shots of Mayhem. Mayhem through and back at him too. Nima just chilling in the smoke for the time being. A man will take down Vampire. Entity, they have been struck back at though. Mayhem doing an excellent job to hold down this position. They've got the 3-man formation for the current time.
Aman did get confirmed as well, so now 3 for Entity, bringing them even with Mayhem. Both Salty and MegaX have their horse in the race.
Ooh, nice shots coming through from Entity. That will be the whole team wipe, and now it's just one lad left. It is Snacks
1v2
versus, worst versus 2. Yeah, there is one knock over there on Entity. He's wearing the Roman soldier outfit. Can he make a 1-man army play here? Currently, there is only 1 player still in play with the other player reviving. Look, attack back up. Jonathan also.
It's going to be very tricky here.
It's going to be very tricky. With a three-player split, there's one. Gets down, but immediately as he comes back up, Entity will be taking the first match here for the PMCO 2019 Fall Split for South Asia.
And a really strong set of kills as well, coming in with 11. That puts them up at 31 points over the game. You can see, of course, MegaX with a really strong position into the next circle. Were doing really well. They rotated around, but I have to say, what I valued from Entity Gaming that time was playing those off angles, being able to have those sight lines that they needed to take the fights in an advantageous situation time and time again.
Okay, so actually, we're going to go to a quick break now after that very explosive end, so we'll catch you guys very soon. Don't go anywhere.
PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice.
Hi there, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019 Fall Split for South Asia. Today we are sponsored by Vivo for the PMCO 2019, and if you want to be ready to beat anyone out on the battleground, you need to have that uninterrupted gaming time with a fully loaded Vivo Z1X.
Play PUBG Mobile with 22.5 watt Vivo flash charge, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 712 processor, 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Brings you a more immersive experience.
So if you want those glorious chicken dinners, you've got to grab one today.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, welcome back. So we just saw Entity Gaming pick up the winner chicken dinner in a pretty good fashion as well. They played fairly excellently throughout it. Obviously we saw Team Spark. We thought they were going to do very well. It looks like they suffered some quite unlucky losses towards the beginning, and that kind of rolled into their late game. And when you're losing out on that, it becomes very difficult to bring it back as you're moving into the circle. We are now going to get some statistics from the game. And currently, we do have Velocity Gaming in first. They got 11 kills that game. They got 20 points, but I believe that should be Entity Gaming up at the top. MegaX coming second, Mayhem, IND, GODLIKE, SoltiSQUAD, INS, and the Destoryer in eighth.
Yeah, they are going to be coming through. Yeah, I don't think it is Velocity Gaming, as you say. MegaX, I talked about how they had a really strong position for the majority of the circle, sort of around phase 3. That sort of carried them on through. They had a really good shout, and it was Snacks who was able to carry them on through to get them up as far as they did. So really, really nice turn up for the books from them. Last season, we used the metric of about 20 points per map. Was a good place to be, but of course that had the different placement point setup. So we're going to be looking to see just where the good average of per map score lies in these next couple of games. Hopefully we'll be able to find that one out. I imagine it's going to be slightly lower. You can see sort of the top 4 teams hovering around that sort of 15-point mark. So that's where I'm sort of expecting it in my mind, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, obviously, Esports all the way at the bottom there. They got 1 placement point for coming all the way in 16th. Didn't pick up any kills either, even though they were vying for control on GODLIKE for quite a long time there. Official at the top, they didn't get any kills whatsoever, but they did survive for quite a long time. And I think that as we move on down, you'll start to see these teams even out in terms of points.
Of course, a lot of teams over on that 3-4 point mark as well, which is really good to see. That was sort of something that we saw a lot last time, was there'd be 1 or 2 teams on 0-1 and then some teams up on 6-7. But with the current score system, it's now changed that a little bit. It's going to be able to normalize it just a little bit further, which I'm a big fan of. I think it's going to be great. It seems like it's going to start to happen already.
Yeah, I think that the best thing about the new point system is that you're not going to just suddenly run away with the whole tournament if you get a couple of chicken dinners early on in maybe day 1, day 2. Here now there's much more opportunity to bring it back and really show off your skill and make sure people know that you are the OP team around.
Absolutely, that's what you want to do, and Entity Gaming, they've already started to do that. I talked about it a little bit before, but really, what happened in that previous game was that they used their angles really well. Yeah. They used positioning, they made sure that they took every single fight at an advantage, and that's what won them the game in the end. I mean, they even ended up in essentially what was a 2v1, and they still had off angles going on. They sent back a player to res. They weren't over aggressive. They were calculated. They were cool. They were calm.
Absolutely.
And it paid off. So hopefully we're going to see more of that.
Yeah, what was also really cool for me to see when they were on the top side, you had a player popping up and down all the time to get out those shots during the whole thing and make sure the pressure was still applied. Here we go. We are going to move over to Sanhok now, however, as we watch the playing path very, very short line. Currently, it is from the bottom east moving over to the northwest on this side of the map.
Sanhok, a lot more chaotic, a lot smaller, as we did see. Of course, these 2 groups will be starting to drop on out. The plane, as you can see, is moving from the southeast to that northwestern island, giving Camp Charlie a little bit of a nice spot there. Painan as well is going to be relatively accessible, as well as Ruins. All of these spots are going to be pretty strong. Kampong being taken already by GODLIKE, so a really nice spot for them to be able to rotate forwards. Of course, that southern side is going to open up a little bit more with the early drops coming through that way.
Yeah, and because it was such an early drop as well, if they get all Kampong to themselves, they can quickly start moving towards wherever the circle does place itself. But really, this path opens up for a lot of areas, and currently looks like only Team Spark are the ones brave enough to take down Bootcamp themselves.
Is that 3 teams over near Paradise Resort? That's going to be quite hectic. We'll see who's going to be able to claim that one. Of course, it's the same story as over with Erangel, was that everyone's going to be trying to lay claim to these positions, to these locations, and try and mark their dominance. Yeah, it looks like 3 teams are landing over in Paradise Resort as we speak.
My lord, that's going to be one hell of a cluster of teams all finding out over that. It'll be very, very difficult to make away with that one unscathed, at least. We are just watching currently Hype for the time being. There is only 1 team over on the northwestern side of the islands, but one thing you're really careful, John, about in Sanhok at least, is definitely those third parties coming through. Yeah,
it's really, really heavy for that. It's so difficult to hear people coming because vehicle rotations are pretty much non-existent in Sanhok. Everything's so small, everything's so close together. Moving on foot is almost always the best way to go, and try and see what you can get done there. Cave being opened up by Team IND. They're going to be able to loot that one up pretty happily. Only 1 team over in Bootcamp. That's going to be Team Spark. They are, or Spark X. Xspark, that's the one. Xspark over in Bootcamp. They are going to be pretty happy with that. Got a lot of that to themselves. Only 1 team over on that northwestern island as well. And everyone else relatively spread out. The circle is going to push everybody to the main island, however. So those bridges, those river crossings are going to be controlled by the team.
Already INS trying to stake a claim on Paradise Resort here. SOLTISQUAD just desperately looking for weapons and armory, really, around this compound. Nima obviously was in the top 3 from last game. So maybe he's looking to do a little bit more of that and make sure he gets his team all the way to the end once again. INS, currently, they're just using that third-party view to make sure they can see down that long, long corridor, as we can see on Paradise Resort, make sure they can control SOLTISQUAD for the time being. Well, like SOLTISQUAD just sitting pretty, just keeping it calm for the time being.
Yeah, exactly. And with Portal Esports bugging out, it's going to be a little bit less
smart move.
as well.
It was the smart move.
Absolutely.
They were outside of the compound. They just had to leave.
Yeah, and they should have been able to spot as well that no one was dropping towards Tamok, so they can exit that way pretty safely. They can move through that ground. Teams now starting to move from that southwestern island over in Painan. You've got a couple of teams sort of gathering out, but this first circle on Sanhok especially doesn't really push anyone too hard. It's so slow. It doesn't take that much health away from you as well. It's very, very easy to move away from it. So no one's going to rotate early, and everyone's just going to be vying for control, which is why you see teams like Salty, teams like INS still sticking around over in Paradise.
Yeah, because one of these teams will eventually take some casualties and try and bug out, or one team will just completely go down. And both teams are currently just trying to occupy one spot and make sure they have full control over it. Both teams aren't right inside, but there goes down the first player. Refresh does not come through. Cash is just moving out there.
Oh, dear.
It's another
Oh,
no,
go
taking
on.
the whole team down.
He's going for another one. He's got AJ as back, and that's immediately INS going away. Say bye-bye. They're not going to be happy with that sort of Paradise.
It seemed like a wild swing from Vcash there as he moved down, but he definitely did the job. Only 2 players to go down from SOLTISQUAD, and now they have all of Paradise Resort for themselves. And like you said, John, because this circle does not push you too hard, now they can just loot freely before they look for a new position within the circle. But right now, they are fairly happy sitting in Paradise Squad as the circle does move over to the east.
Yeah, not only that as well, there's no teams really to their north who are going to want to rotate back in. We saw Portal Esports being the team to move up, and now they've left. They don't really want to rotate back. No one's going to be having a rotation path through Paradise Resort. They should be really very safe now to try and just maintain some of those meds. Of course, taking the fight does mean that you lose out on armor, on helmet, on some of those meds, as I say. That is going to affect you a lot more later on into the game.
Absolutely. You want to make sure you have those helmets fully intact when you take to the firefights later. But Paradise Resort gives you a little bit of that overlook advantage as well, because there's quite a lot of places you can set up like 4 players around it, make sure you can see everywhere. And compounds are fairly few and far between here on Sanhok.
The issue is with Paradise Resort, you do have that overlook, but if you manage to sneak past the lookouts, there is a lot of ground around it that you can take a lot of cover from, so you can be snuck up on in Paradise Resort. With only 4 players, it's not super easy to hold, which is why actually 2 teams can feasibly just sit there and coexist and try and hold opposite sides of Paradise Resort and try and sort of hold it down that way, because 8 pairs of eyes better than 4, of course. And if you just sort of play it a little bit easier, it might be quite nice. At the moment though, Xspark just facing off over towards Orb.
Yeah, Orb currently just sitting still and making sure we're unfazed by your grenades, but Team Xspark, they definitely want to have a bit more of a better come through on Sanhok today after taking that pretty tough loss there on Erangel. They have the high ground currently, so Orb is really running into kind of a dangerous game here. They do have hard cover though as they move up.
They're pushing straight into the fire.
This seems really odd.
There. There's a crossfire from Xspark. They've got the scout at the back as well. Really nicely positioned from there. And Mad Dog just trying to yeet a nade in, but it's not really going to go very well. Paratosh answered one of his own. He did cook it. Didn't quite find the damage. Goes for another.
Currently, Orb and Sinister on the other side didn't make a move at all when Mad Dog rushed up the hill, so there was no assistance. It was effectively a 2v4 there. As you can see, MaxCash not doing anything, takes down with a nade from Ronak. Excellently placed. I mean, he threw about 3, so there was a high chance he was going to get 1 at one point.
Oh, sorry, that's the QBZ.
QBZ, yeah.
Finding the mark there. Paratosh able to clean it on up. Oh, really looking shaky. It's just Sinister really left standing for this squad.
Maybe Mad Dog should have kept to what he was good at, which was just laying on the floor, waiting.
Oh dear.
Obviously, Scout does go down, but we'll be able to bring him up. So they will not even suffer a loss there in the beginning. So Xspark off to a great start there with 4 kills.
Now, this is a unique facet of Sanhok. They need to get up and they need to get out very fast. Third partying so prevalent. There's 2 teams right to the south. There's a team to the west as well.
They're moving in straight
the form of
away.
Entity. They need to move in. They need to just try and get away from the site of the firefight. Pick up that loot and get gone.
Exactly. They are currently staying there for the time being. Sure, they have the high ground, but you are correct, John. They might have the high ground versus one team, but it might not be just one team that you are facing. You're potentially facing 2 or 3. Obviously, now on the screen, we are seeing ETG versus Hyper. Currently, Hyper's just trying to control the hill, but ETG, they have very firm position on this compound.
The Destoryer over on the northern side, crossing near Hatin, are going to be able to just pretty chill here. They haven't had to face any conflict. They were solo over on the northwestern side, northwestern island, sorry. And now they're going to have the north of the main island pretty much to themselves as well. Portal Esports have rotated away from Tapmok, so there's really just no one to try and fight these guys. They're going to be pretty happy with that. The question is, are they going to try and stay on the edge of the circle? Are they going to try and push in a little bit more central? Because they're a little bit late to the party if they want to try and get more central.
Absolutely. You want to get to the party, you want to blow out those balloons, you want to blow on those poppers too. Like, the problem is that if you don't get there quick enough, you lose out big time. So really here, you need to get into the circle. You need to make sure you are firmly planted, because obviously there's not too much movement done here. And if you can control one position that's quite dominant within the circle, you set yourself up very well for the late game. You don't want to take 2 fights like you were saying earlier, because equipment runs dry quick.
All right, okay. It seems like Xspark, though, they didn't actually leave the site of the fight. Entity tried to push on forwards, but they didn't get any knocks with the nades, and this is really smart. So again, what we're seeing from Entity is intelligent decisions. And it's really, really good to see. They're moving away. They didn't get any knocks. They didn't get any poke damage with those nades, and they're thinking, do you know what? We don't need to take this fight. We don't need to lose armor. We don't need to use up meds. We're just going to go for position. We know exactly what we need to do. We got a killer game last time, so we got some kill buffer.
Yeah, so really now they just want to focus on placement points, right? Because obviously with those 11 kills, like you said, even if they don't get a single kill here, they're still averaging out 5.5 kills per game. I really do like this position from Team Xspark, right? You have Scout down in the hill, protective in the compound. He can scout if anyone's coming up, quite literally in his namesake.
Yeah.
Whilst the rest of the guys, they have very hard cover in that God spot on the hill. So I'm not the biggest fan of sticking around because you might get third party, but if they can control it versus 2 teams, like, I mean, there's no issue there. No complaints from me.
I really like how Scout is separated at the moment.
That is the smart move.
It is pretty smart from them to be able to have that angle. It's what I praised Entity for in the previous game. It's what I'm going to continue to praise as it goes forwards. It's always good, especially as Sanhok, to have that lookout, to have that backline. You need to always be on the swivel.
It's very cool, though, seeing two what we assume are going to be some of our great teams in this tournament, like make 2 very smart decisions, like consecutively. So Team Xspark taking those really great positions to scout anyone coming through, and Entity realizing, you know what, this isn't a fight we have to take.
Xspark now, they are going to be the gatekeepers. The quarry is in the way of the rotation of 3 teams. It's going to funnel them towards Xspark. But they're all coming from the same direction. Entity, they've already gone away north. No one else is really going to try and challenge them. Will they be able to hold it against this many teams? That's my question. That's my thought. They have the positioning to do it. They might not have the nades. They did use quite a few against in that fight earlier. But for now, as well, in the circle, we're looking at the Destroyer on that northern rotation. Still going to be pretty clean, pretty easy for them. There's plenty of compounds for them to occupy on the northern side. Over in Camp Bravo, of course, you've got Rip Official, who have been pretty much undisturbed the entire game. Portal Esports, who moved away from Paradise Resort, remember, they're sort of pretty much bang central, a little bit northern of the center of this next circle as well. So they're going to be pretty chuffed with that one.
Yeah, but all the fun is going to happen down in Quarry. Major thing to consider here is no one's going to come through the Quarry because it sets yourself up for a really, really bad time, so everyone's going around it. So Xspark actually have a lot of time whilst they wait for Hype to come around the other side, and they can take the fight with ETG now.
If they spot them out, that is. ETG look like they are going to start to mount up. They have been spotted out. Paradox gets the first knock.
Paradox just ducking and weaving currently, not finding anyone for the time being. Dark so low right now. Scout takes a couple of hits, but a waste will knock another. Now only 2 players, and 1 player is right on the brink of death. Like I said, if they can get this done quickly, they can actually potentially even fight Hype as they come around the side.
Where's Mayhem as well? They're on the southwestern side of this fight. They might try and backstab ETG.Brawlers, if they get the opportunity. Teams Xspark honestly have a really strong position into this fight. You can see how they move. They are just so confident in this and covering each other on those rotations.
Yeah, and to bounce back so well from a game like Erangel, this is really incredible. And showing people like, sure, we didn't have the greatest start, but this is what we want to bring to the tournament all the way through. Dark is just trying to crawl away as best as he can, but like you said, Mayhem also coming to the party now as well. Oace really need to cut this cake and get it done quickly with Team Xspark, otherwise this is going to turn sour very fast.
Pretty on the southern side of the circle, on the other side of the quarry, it's where we find Team IND. Hype as well, trying to push on in. They've already managed to get a lot of damage down. Trance has fallen. They have another knock on to Slayer, who does get rezzed, and Kratos trying to play that outside angle. Turp.
Ooh, crazy man.
Just about holding on. Del G will see one, will see two, but get instantly popped. Oh dear, Team IND not going to be happy with this one. Kratos still alive.
Indeed. Crawling away from a really awful fight for his team. Obviously, Hype still know there must be one player still in the vicinity. There's no vehicles around here, and there's only so fast a man can run or crawl in this instance. ETG still alive, and this again speaks to the strength of Xspark. They realize, you know what, we don't have to confirm these kills to put ourselves in a bad position. We have this incredible position, we can just hold on to it for the time being. But Hype, currently, that was a very good push into that compound, and now they can control the space around it.
Yeah, they surrounded the ridgeline. Perfect execution on that fight. Xspark, the way they've moved and fought was exemplary to me. I thought that they perfectly covered themselves. They knew when to give up the ground. They didn't need to risk staying forwards. 1 point a kill, it's good. It's not great if you go down in 14th place. So you definitely don't want to be in with a chance of that. At the moment still, though, the Destroyer still have not taken a fight. The MegaStars over toward the northern side. Everyone now has left Paradise Resort as Salty make their way down southeast, occupying the T-junction there, just near Paradise Resort. As the fights towards the south really going to start to heat up as everyone merges around the tip of Quarry.
Indeed. It's starting to get a little bit clusters down there, and there now another circle drops now, which is right dead in the center, just pushing people closer together, and they don't have very far to move from Quarry. But now Xspark, now they'd really have to worry about that third-party issue, right? Everyone is coming towards them. You can see Mayhem moving up there, the remaining players from ETG, and now Hype moving towards that loot crate. It's going to get really messy here, and if Xspark want a chance to walk away with a very high placement, perhaps now is the time to move away from this position.
They are starting to maybe struggle just a little bit on the southern side. Xspark, they had dominant position before, but they'd been able to find it and establish themselves previously. Now they have the compound. It is okay, but they are on the edge of this next circle. So it will be maybe a little bit spotty if they have to leave it towards phase number 5. We'll see how they're able to zone away. MegaStars right now, really happy with it. Portal Esports as well, that early rotation away from Paradise Resort has served them incredibly well. They are in with a really nice spot, really away from the conflict. They do have to worry about Rip Official from Camp Bravo, but in general, they're going to be pretty happy. What Rip Official are doing at the moment, they are sending a player over to try and scout that compound and see what they can find. GODLIKE, as you can see on your screens, have a southeastern compound towards this circle, as MegaX as well. Just holding it out near button.
So that was the scout going down from RIP, so now they know players are ahead. It's really now up to Tempest to get himself in a safe spot where he can be res, potential for smoke coming through, but you are now 3v4. It's going to start to become a little bit more difficult for RIP going forward. PS with such a strong position here, looking out over the road.
Oh, they spot Tempest.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bleed out. Yeah, he's done.
He does get taken out. Nicely done by Portal Esports, holding it down. They rotated away.
Oh, what is that?
He's way out in the open, but just about finds cover. 3 still alive for Rip Official.
I almost offered his head up on a plate there through the small split in the tree.
Oh, yeah.
But PS doing a good job here. Portal Esports literally just looking down over the road. It's very smart positioning. And now Naruto and Sky, they just want to crawl their way in and pass that road for the time being.
Yeah, not quite a run for Naruto.
No.
Just wants to take it a little bit slower.
Well, it depends, Ray. I mean, at some point he has to swing the arms back and crouch down low and really get the sprint going. Otherwise, he's going to be trapped here behind this tree for quite a while.
Is there such a thing as gunjutsu?
Gunjutsu, maybe.
Maybe.
Kagebunshin no gun jutsu, it just creates like literally 18 guns.
M4 jutsu.
Yeah.
M4.
What do? Do you just fling the gun at someone?
I use my 8x jutsu.
Whoa! God damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of range. That's a lot of range on that one.
Absolutely.
It looks like a RIP. To be fair, still 3 players alive. They only lost the scout. I think you're happy with that. I think it has been said a lot before as well. On Sanhok, you can afford to lose 1 player. Because with the terms of the terrain, you can actually you can third party quite easily with 3 players, and you can make it all the way to the end, especially with the snaking potential in that last circle.
Again, Entity Gaming, they are split up. They have off angles. Brilliant. I'm going to keep hammering it home because I really like how they're playing this. Very nicely done.
Good job, boys. Good job, boys. John approves big time. MegaX, they also have the off angles too, all different buildings, and really Entity is just waiting. They know they don't have to make a move yet. Obviously, they have lost 1 player now, and Mayhem moving into Team Xspark right now.
It's getting a little bit warm for Gatak. You can see he's dropped his clothes there.
Yeah, he
just wants to cool off. He needs to cool off, man. Entity Gaming, they're playing so hot right now.
Oh yeah, they need to start slamming some sun cream as well, because at least factor 50 as well, because they are steaming.
Well, at the moment he's just chilling in the shade of that rock there, so he's going to be all right for now. But yeah, of course he needs to stay hydrated. He needs to get that sun cream on. You know, you want to be able to maintain your health all the way through, and that's the thing. You need to be able to maintain your meds as well.
Yeah, exactly. Away in the doorway, down to a sliver of HP. What? Why you go pick it again?
Oasis, come on, you're better than that.
He's like, come on, try hit me, try hit me.
He was healing up whilst he was shimmying out, but just wasn't worth it.
I think if you're behind a wall, there's no real need for the shimmy in the first place. Yeah. Hey, look at my foot. See if he can hit that.
He's taunting him. He's having a go. But the next circle has popped. It's relatively central. Again, Portal Esports. They've now moved away from the compound they held before. They moved into a nice spot again. They're really happy with this, and I'm really happy with them as well in terms of their rotations. They smartly avoided that early fight. They moved around to an unoccupied part of the map, and it's come back to pay dividends. Salty, they have a spot on the northern side of this next circle as well, so the MegaStars might challenge them for it. But this southern side has so many people.
It's massively populated right now, and even look at this. RIP are now moving down on the eastern side to the south as well. Godlike, they're going to have to start defending their position very, very soon as people try and move away from all the gunfire on the western side.
What's funneling them in is the Destroyers on the western side and the compound on the eastern side. Everyone's trying to move up, but they can't go around the edges because of those 2 blockades.
Nice play here from Ronak. Look at them just watching Ronak as he takes their lives away from them down this hill. Currently both players down. Excellent spray from this guy.
Ronak, knack, paddy whack. He's not giving any dogs any bones, unfortunately.
Not the bad. You know, he's just digging holes for him, really. That's all he's doing. Now, Paritosh also checking out the angles. Really, Xspark, despite being encumbered from all sides, have come out on top here. Really, to be honest with you, only losing 1 player is not a massive deal for them. Mayhem currently literally stuck in a shack with just 2 players. If there was any position you want to be in, John, would this really be one of them? You know,
sometimes a retreat to a lovely island with your best buddy over to a nice exotic location would be nice. It would be relaxing, but in this situation, I feel it's going to be more terrifying
and quite loud.
Yes, it's not going to be quite the sort of relaxation that you want to see. You want to probably go to Paradise Resort, but even then, there were 3 teams landed there. It was pretty tricky to deal with even that. So maybe Sanhok not quite the romantic getaway that you're looking for.
No. Snacks there. Excellent shot on the sniper. Kar98 coming in hot there. Hype trying to make them in the circle. They had a great position around the ridge side, but now Godlike, they are waiting just for the players to come through the circle. Obviously, KO on the bottom side. Great nade from Axe there.
See where everyone else can rotate. As the circle does hard shift southwest, which is going to mean that Portal Esports for the first time in these recent circles are going to have to start to push. Phase 5 over on Sanhok, deadly for anyone who dares make the push at the wrong time. And everyone on that southeastern side has a long way to go. The zone will be controlled just a little bit by Entity, who have already made their way in. On the edge, though, you've got Xspark to deal with.
13 teams still in this one, though, John.
Watch that
where
number
the circle is so low, and you're so right. The teams are going to start dropping mega here. Godlike's still going. They got a lot of kills last time in a very short amount of time as well on Erangel. It looks like they're trying to pull that one through again. Mayhem clapping back, and you're right, look, the teams are just getting crunched big time.
Healing up with the first aid kit, might opt to pop on up. No, instead goes to try and out-heal the zone. Oh no, GODLIKE hasn't spotted him. He might just be left alive. Nicely done. First aid kit popped in time. We'll get them back in, and 2 teams already, 3 as well now. Gonna drop on out, but finally goes down. GODLIKE.
He let him walk straight past him, and maybe he did see him. He was going to the circle and just took him out afterwards. Kiki will go down now. Won't make it back into the circle, sadly, but Anto still making that mad dash for the team, but he will have to heal up. They look like staying outside of the circle for so long, and when it starts to yoink a little bit away from them, GODLIKE just did not have the rotations
Portal
there.
Esports got taken down on that rotation as well. Entity now controlling the northern side of the next zone. They are in a great spot to be able to repeat this performance that they had from last game. They have the position yet again, and I'm very proud of these guys. I'm proud that they are going to be able to represent the strength of this region.
Absolutely. Entity, you got to put respect on the name, guys, so far.
It is early days, though. It has to be said. Has to be said.
MegaX currently with a massive amount of team players alive, all 4 still in it. Obviously, they have been just moving down from the northern side all game. Entity, however, taking down final boss. It won't be the final boss for them this game, though.
Not quite. Not quite.
SOLTISQUAD again, though, still nipping at the heels of Entity Gaming. Seems like this will be a reoccurring trend for us so far.
Not only that, but MegaX, they came second in the last game, remember. Snacks was able to get them into the top stratas of the previous match, and now they have a decent position moving forwards. They've taken a little bit of damage, but they've got all 4 players left remaining. Entity are controlling the northern side, so don't worry really about the south.
Only 7 teams now, almost half gone from that 13 overall. MegaVex now gone down. Won't be able to bring a Vex to the enemy team who took him out. And Aman just spraying. Ooh, it almost hit his own teammate. Not a bad thing.
If there was team damage, that might have hurt.
Yeah, definitely.
But MegaX, they do need to start to think about moving. They have to leave the compound. Entity trying to control it. The smoke at the back will cover them, but Salty are getting peppered as well by GODLIKE. He's able to find one, does get spotted out from up the hill.
He's not dead though yet.
Vcash will just be able to find it. Finally able to get the knock, but the next circle going to zone up really far north as well.
Indeed. Still, Entity Gaming players alive here. Jonathan, I believe, just snaking it for the time being. SOLTISQUAD, 3 members still alive. MegaX still in a hugely good position with 4 members, just combing the hillside right now. But look, Team Xspark still in the game, moving up from the southern side. It's what they've been doing all game.
ETG.Brawlers still in this one as well, of course. They have to vie for control of this position. The hillsides here are really strong for Salty. They have got control of pretty much the eastern side. Sorry, it is the western side of this circle. They have the sight lines to go on forwards. Entity have been sort of crunched in just a little bit. MegaX with a nice spot, but they do have to move, and these rotations from the south are going to be pretty tricky for everyone involved. It looks like Xspark, though, are going to be pretty good at controlling where the enemy team's moving, but the zone is going to push them in, and they have to find their footing.
Yeah, Entity are really struggling right now. They've got this hard cover on the right, which is the rock, but that's about it. And it's 2 players versus 4. Really, you're between the devil and the deep blue sea here versus MegaX and also SOLTISQUAD. And Jonathan been spot out like that. This might be the end for Entity's run here on map 2. That's it.
Snacks does get returned in the meantime, so they are only 3 now. Salty rattle up the hill as well as they are trying to return the knocks. MegaX are getting peppered from the back. Xspark is still in it. Top 3 teams remain now, Blank.
Paratosh done a great job to get that off angle now too. 3 players, obviously they've moved it through. Nade coming over the top. It looks like it is going to be good. There's so many players in that zone as well. Will hit the rock, doesn't find anyone, but he's going to go again. Can change the trajectory right now. SOLTISQUAD still on the left side. Doesn't find Swag just yet, but away slowly moving forward.
Has to be careful of Salty. I don't know if they've checked the angles just yet. You can see Oasis looking for it, but Paratosh trying to control that sight line, and Xspark are starting to rattle the shots off. The lead going down range as they eliminate MegaX.
Now, 2 teams remaining, only 3 on the side of Xspark versus 3 on SOLTISQUAD. Runak does heal up, but look at them. They're already taking advantage of this last circle, quickly making those rotations, making sure they can take as many angles as possible. Currently, SOLTISQUAD, they're trapped on the bottom of the hill. They're not making these rotations as of yet. And now, the backpacks, they are dropped. They don't need the excess weight. Nima, he's been spotted. Information is there, and 2 players behind the rocks. 1 goes down. It is Paratosh, but they fire back onto Vcash.
Is going to spot the down player as well. Oase with a nice sneaky snake outside. Does
Oh,
have a player
Ronak's
behind
coming
him.
in, though.
Ronak looking for the snake. This is
They're
really,
all
really
here,
close in.
John.
He's going to hear the footsteps.
Comes
Pushes
around
in.
the corner. Sees one, takes down one. There's just one left. Sees him in the grass and will finish it. Team Xspark. Excellent rotations down the hill, John.
There you go. Beautiful, huge numbers of kills coming in from
That's
them as
massive.
well. That is 17 kills coming out from Xspark. After a pretty disastrous first game, they come in and show us just what these names deserve. It's the respect of everybody else in the lobby. Salty doing very, very well on the kill count as well. They are going to be pretty happy with that one. Everyone putting in the effort, and MegaX with, again, another great performance.
Absolutely, and we'll see Entity Gaming somewhere down there as well. We are going to get some highlights on the stream, but John, incredible plays from these teams overall. You're just really happy to see it. I mean, that global finals experience coming in massive. Obviously, being able to endow their experience to the other players in the team as well. Ronak and Oase, and Ronak just showing us why he does what he does, right? That was such an awesome rotation because they kind of funneled them into one spot. You saw Oase, sure, he went down in the end, but he had funneled them over onto that side by the rock.
Yeah.
Other Paratosh then pushing in as well, making sure that one player goes down, and then it's just up to Ronak to make that long rotation through, and he performed it excellently. Peeks out, takes down one, peeks back in, and then the other one's got the information.
The way they were moving, Xspark demonstrating brilliant tactical knowledge, brilliant tactical know-how. Great to see them coming through. The Kings, of course, of Paradise Resort, Salty. They came out coming in second as well, so a really nice turn up for them. Those rotations playing into their favor. It was pretty circle dependent for them, and they did very well to capitalize on that, but you cannot take it away from them. They were able to pick up a total of 10 kills over the course of that game.
Yeah, that's the big thing though for you really at the end of the day. If you get a great position early, you want to be doing stuff with that. And if you can place yourself in second and get all those points advantage because of it, then you take it. Sure, circle look does come into it sometimes, but you know what? That's not a thing that we have to worry about, because if you get that circle look, you have to make it count.
Yeah, it's what it comes down to at the end of the day. You need to be confident in rotating out towards the circle. You need to be confident at holding the right spot in the circle. The difficulty is when you get the circle, sometimes you're in a compound that isn't in the best spot.
No.
Do you make the decision to leave? Do you make the decision to stay? It's very, very difficult because on one hand, you have the strength of the compound. On the other, you're going to have 3 teams trying to crash into you all at once. You know, it's kind of tricky. You know someone's going to be in the best compound as well, so we'll have to wait and see what a lot of these teams decide. But 37 points coming out from Xspark. That is the way to come back from a down, from a not so great game.
Absolutely. SOLTISQUAD there in second place. 24 points overall for them for this game. MegaX, GODLIKE, Velocity, and that should be Entity Gaming. I think that is just an issue with our statistics screen here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. ETG.Brawlers, Mayhem, and MegaStars. So really, Entity Gaming still did a good job with that 8 placement points and 2 kills, but it is SOLTISQUAD and Xspark we'll look out for, those 10 and 17 kills total. Incredible plays from this
The
team.
kills were super heavily weighted towards the top of that table. Really, really good to see. It was the teams with 4 players left alive towards the end that were able to do so well. We saw exactly what came in there, but look at this. We got Xspark jumping on up 1 point below.
Yeah, Entity Gaming right there at the top with a total of 13 kills, placement points at 28. Xspark, obviously their placement points are a little bit lacking, but look, 6+ kills over Xspark currently. MegaX managed to bring up the lead quite quickly, only 2 points behind right now at 15 kill points. They're doing very good for themselves, and placement points at 24. Coming down, we have the SOLTISQUAD. They're doing a good job to keep themselves in the top places on Erangel and Sanhok. And as we move down, IND just being quite a consistent team as we saw from before, but not quite in those top spots.
Now remember, of course, this is just the group stage. I say just, it is the group stages, which means that, of course, the top 24 teams from this stage will be moving forward. You don't need to be in the top strata. Some of these teams, they might just be biding their time. They might just be waiting it out. So really what you're looking at is the bottom quarter of teams are in trouble. So Rip Official, Orb, Portal, and KO, still very early days for them. Very, very early. But they do need to be worried. They are sat in those spots that are primed for elimination.
Indeed. Obviously, those are other teams they haven't played yet. We will be seeing them very shortly.
Yeah. We'll be seeing some of them tomorrow, I'd imagine. I think we'll see both of them tomorrow, but here we go. Look at that
There's our
Ronak.
team kill leaderboard. Wow, Ronak, 10 kills. That's incredible.
Guy's insane.
Yeah, Nima, obviously he made himself all the way to the end of Erangel as well. 9 kills total. Jonathan 7 kills, Croton 6, and then Snacks in the end, who was also a lone soldier at 6.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. I believe that's for both games combined. I had to double check that. I don't think Ronak got 10 kills all in one go, but no, I think I think he managed to get 8. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think he managed to get 8 in that previous game. So that will be the sum of both of those previous games.
Yeah.
We'll keep that running tally going. We'll be updating you as it goes. But for
Always
now,
the most bloodthirsty.
top fragger.
Yeah. Anyway, we will be going to a quick break now. We'll see you very soon for some more awesome PUBG Mobile.
I know you're looking at me. I know you're looking at me.
Nice.
I know you're looking at me. 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 I know you're looking at me.
Welcome back to the PMCO 2019 Fall Split. My name's Blank. I'm joined today by John Allen, and this is the South Asia region. Alright, Vivo is our official sponsor for the PMCO 2019 South Asia. Amazing PUBG games need an amazing mobile phone, and the Vivo V17 Pro is the official smartphone of PMCO 2019 Fall Split in Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka.
With multi-turbo acceleration technology, cold start speeds increased 25%, 8
nice.
gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of ROM. With dual engine fast charging, the V17 Pro never hesitates.
Dual engine fast charging. Not to mention that, it feels great in the hand as well, so you can't go wrong with it, can you, really?
Certainly not.
Anyway, boys, welcome back. We just saw Sanhok over there with Xspark taking it away in the end with Ronak. An excellent rotation around the side, peeking around the rocks, laying a little bit of lead in there, peeking back around again, and then going for round two. He finished it out very, very strong.
Really strong plays from them. Positioning seems to be the strength now when it comes to this South Asian region. We've seen Entity perform very, very well twice now with just such a strategy. And now Xspark, after being able to make their way through that really, really hefty southern rotation where everybody was funneled together, they came out on top and they were able to take it home with some great positioning of their own, with some great in-fight strategy calling.
It was a trial of fire getting through there, right?
Yeah.
They took off the boots, they took off the socks, and they just walked through the charcoals. They were absolutely fine getting towards that last circle. And MegaX, to be fair, they had a pretty damn easy. It was basically a hike down from northern side. They didn't even overcome. They didn't have to overcome any blisters either. They got to the end. They had 4 members, and even so, SOLTISQUAD and also Team Xspark were able to remove them from the equation and then battle it out at the end. SOLTISQUAD coming in second, of course.
Yeah. Now we're going to be heading over to Miramar, though. Oh yeah. It's going to be a little bit more spaced out, a little bit more heavily dependent on the vehicle rotations, terrain play. But from what we've seen from the positioning style of Entity and Xspark, and presumably quite a few of these other teams as well, hopefully it's going to be a little bit of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit more spacious, that's for sure. It's like going from a Mini into a Ford Fiesta. It's going to be a little bit bigger.
I feel like it's more like going into a Range Rover. The size of Miramar is absolutely huge. It's the biggest map
I'd
in
probably
the game.
say Erangel was probably the Ford Fiesta of maps.
Yeah.
What would you say Sanhok
Well, to be
is,
honest,
though?
I would say it's like going from a motorbike. No, it's the Tuk-Tuk.
Yeah.
It's Sanhok. You've got the Dacia that is Erangel.
Yeah.
I would say Vikendi is probably more...
The snowmobile.
I'd say it's a little bit bigger than that, but I'm not sure. Both Erangel and Vikendi, I'd say, would be the Dacia, and then you've got the UAZ that is Miramar.
Exactly indeed. Anyway, here we go. Over to Miramar. Much bigger map, much more reliant on those vehicle rotations getting into the circle at the end. And obviously, we see a lovely decorated plane with the new Royal Path.
Twirling dragons, giving us a little bit of fancy artwork on the back there. Love it, love to see it. From the northern side, the plane will approach, pretty much cutting the map in half. All of these places will be available. Campo Militar is available to be able to go to on this drop. La Cobreria, the hardest place to say in the entirety of Miramar if you're not a native Spanish speaker.
Which you're not, by the way.
Which I'm not. Thanks.
But you smashed it.
Well, I had to take it slow. I did have to take it slow. I can't say it fast. It is available, but no one's dropping out that early. Everyone wants to try and maintain a little bit of centrality because, of course, it's so big that the first circle can really hit you hard. If it goes southeast and you're up in the northwest, it is pretty much impossible to make a solid rotation and a solid shout for a good position in the next
If you have no vehicle, you are essentially running in the cold after that, or in the heat, as it is Miramar. Campo Militar seems to be, no one's going for it. It is a little bit difficult to go up to. Obviously, it does give you military loot, but in this instance, it looks like teams are favouring position more.
Already kills coming through. 2 people have died.
Oh, Christ.
There we go.
But the LPS taking a lot of damage already.
I think it's Entity.
Entity laying down the fire. They're like, we got number 2. We want number 1.
Portal Esports, they might have done well to get out of Paradise Resort last game, but looks like they're going to be running away with the tail between their legs. Oh no, he's already going for an early fight. Oh my goodness me.
Is that a team wipe?
That's a team wipe. Entity Gaming pick up 4.
That is, if there's ever a hot drop, that is one hell of a hot drop right there. Just straight down, get the weapons. Obviously, NTMN has got the best weapon in the game here, the VSS. Just an incredible gun if you can click on the button fast enough.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Really good gun. Really agree with you on that one. Absolutely. No disagreements.
Okay, this is a hard shift over to the western side here. Basically, half the map no longer in view. This is more of a hard shift that you might imagine that would go over to the sea and really ruin a game. But in this instance, we have all of the land available here. So this should be a really, really fun game. Very, very interesting. All these players over on the eastern side will need to think about moving soon, getting some vehicles available. But it is really only Mega over here found a good position within the circle, and also MegaX. So it's the Mega Boys who are in the perfect place right now.
Some mega spots coming out from them.
Absolutely.
Everybody's going to be trying to go for those western rotations.
Does this make it a giga spot?
No, because it would have to be mega to the power of times 10 to the power 3 would make a giga.
We need another mega.
We need another
mega team.
I would say it's a scale factor of 10 to the 3, so I reckon we'd need probably 1,000 more.
I just heard the 3 in my head, and my brain that doesn't do maths was
1,000
like, one more team.
Because 1,000 megabytes is a gigabyte.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did you?
Yeah, my brain works occasionally on the
Oh, no,
off
wait.
chance.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure?
No.
Okay. Me neither. Xspark, though, on the southern side near Chumacera.
Can we get someone that at us on Twitter and tell us, please, who is actually good at maths?
I mean, I am.
There's someone better than you, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best at maths.
I need the person who's best at maths to
Maths or maths?
to
Okay.
at me on Twitter, dude.
You need someone who's best at English, apparently, as well. You're
Yeah,
saying
I
maths.
require a teacher at all times.
He needs an adult.
I need assistance, please.
Oh, dear. Tell you who isn't going to be able to isn't getting any assistance at the moment. It's the MegaStars. They are really far away from everyone, as you said, near El Pozo. They should be absolutely pretty happy with that one. RIP official, they're rotating around towards the north, and they are going to make a break for it and have a little bit of a strong position themselves as well. A lot of those mountains in the middle of this next circle are going to be pretty tricky terrain to operate around. So rotating early has a lot of value over here in Miramar, and trying to vie for those spots early on. You can claim and hold them pretty decently. Yeah,
I do feel sorry for Tempest, though, to be honest with you. Whereas most other teams, their scout seems to go like a little bit forward. Really, RIP, they tend to put Tempest on a very, very long stick and just like force him in front of everything, and then like use him as like a blind stick basically, and just like whack him into stuff. It's like, is that okay over the Tempest? And Tempest is just dead, and they're like, oh, that's not a good spot. We'll move away from there.
If he doesn't reply, it's probably not good.
If he doesn't come back, they just go, we'll leave. That place isn't good to go. I mean, if that's his job, that's his job. We'll leave him to it, right?
INS making a eastern rotation. I think they might just be picking up their teammate to try and go back in. At the moment, no one really making the move just yet. The zone is starting to come on in, but of course, with the scale of the map, everyone has a lot of time. You need to be trying to pick up those vehicles early on, trying to keep them in your control, because if you do, you're going to be so much stronger in those late game rotations when they start to come on out. You see Xspark starting to mount up on the southern side. They're moving in, but this westerly shift really starting to build up, to mount as the pressure is building across the map.
Exactly. Really, you're completely right on that, the pressure. I mean, MegaStars and MegaX both going to start hearing the thunderous like sound of footsteps just coming towards them.
It's like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
When the two guards are stood at the front door, at the front gate, and they just see Arthur and I think is it Galahad or is it one of the other ones coming, just running across the field. It's like 4 minutes it takes them to get there.
Yeah.
It's basically that. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, really, both these teams just need an 8x to make sure they can see that. Because Miramar, like we said earlier, is a very, very big map. So really, GODLIKE, they do have to start getting a move on very, very shortly, because they are still on the eastern side, as is Mayhem. Mayhem tends to be reaching the circle quite late so far. I mean, we've not had too many things to have a look at. Obviously, we've only had 2 games, but for me, Mayhem has made it in a little bit late, despite making it very much to the final circle in the first game.
A little bit of graffiti on the side of that bug. Nice to see.
Beautiful.
Of course, the terrain in Miramar makes it pretty difficult to control your vehicles. The buggy, probably one of the better options. It does ride those hills.
Perfect.
Yeah, it rides those hills pretty well. Darcy's, well, not the Darcy's, the muscle cars.
Yeah.
They are pretty difficult to control.
As you can see.
Yeah, as well as those party vans, if you do see them come on up. The motorbikes are probably the most dangerous vehicle when it comes to Miramar rotations. So mounting up on one of them, you do get some speed, but going off-road can be very treacherous.
Yeah, but motorbike's the coolest, so at the end of the day, who's the real winner?
That is true. Style, fashion, always comes out on
Always
top.
comes out on top of it. I mean, we've seen all the lovely skins, but Max Cash taking down ETG.Brawl. I mean, ETG have been just milling around for quite a while now, and now it looks like Max Cash is really cashing in on that one.
There's a lot of teams starting to stack up towards the south side of this circle. Yet again, the southern rotation is going to be the most deadly. About 4 or 5 teams in relatively close proximity, within about a kilometer of each other, as those rotations come on through. Mayhem still yet to leave their looting spot, as the open fields seem to swallow Orb up whole, as ETG.Brawlers have their Overwatch.
ETG have taken quite a bit of fire from Orb so far, but yeah, like you say, Dark currently has a pretty good spot. Okay. Nova actually, I think he's leaving. Oh no, he's coming for assistance. He is coming for assistance to help his teammate Dark out as he flies over the top of the hill. Here comes the rotate though from MegaX on the right-hand side. Obviously, Brawl can't hold down all angles at once.
He's just biding his time. This is pretty decent. That's a nade being cooked right now by MegaX. He's looking for the shot. The smoke goes out. Oh, it's a wide nade, actually. Does get a little bit of flak damage, though. But it's given ETG.Brawlers time to rotate in. They can go for that backup play, and they're going to be pretty okay for that one, just for now. Of course, he can now hold multiple angles, as Nova has got that 2 versus 1. And MegaX doesn't really want to try and go for that push. Will be zoned away by the nade, but they throw one back as well. MegaX might just struggle in this situation.
Yeah, Nova now cooks one of his own.
The blue's coming in as well.
MegaX dropping another, but look, there's a lot of nades coming over the top. MegaX, half health goes down, and the circle comes to meet all of them. Nova making the run on the right-hand side. MegaX in a really tough situation. Will he take either of them? No, he will not. And Orb just haven't moved quickly enough to help out MegaX. You see Max Cash all the way in the back.
Goes for the lie down. Looks for the spray on, but not quite able to connect them just yet, unfortunately. They are out in the zone. He needs to get to a vehicle relatively soon. Oh, he does spot a couple of heads.
There's a lot of damage. MegaX still alive there, so there's still potential to bring it back up. The rest of the team furiously rushing in to help their teammate. Out from the nade of the top. Mad Dog trying to make a mad rush in here. But the smoke covers the retreat. One is down, and they are still in the blue, John.
Mayhem is still to come as well. Remember, out on the eastern side, they will crash pretty much straight into this fight. They'll see it going on. They'll see everyone grouped up. Super low HP. They might just be able to clean up 8 kills here and now, but we'll have to wait and see if
MegaX
they do end up coming through.
Currently being res right now, does get up. There's one knock. Can see there on the side there. It will be Dark. The Mad Dog spots out. ETG.Brawlers trying to brawl it out, but I don't think they can make it. One more player goes down, and MegaX once again. But they all live. First aid kit has to come through, though, for Yash. Otherwise, the blue will take him whilst he goes to pick up his mate. And that is what I call true friendship. All the team just came rushing in to help out MegaX, and MegaX got himself in a great position to hide out. 4 players from Orb survive.
But they've got a long way to go. The next circle going to head west again, centering even further onto El Pozo. Great for MegaStars, but everyone on that southern side, on the eastern side as well, has to make that rotation. They need to mount up. Mayhem still yet to crash in, and Orb might just struggle to take the fight if Mayhem choose to take it as well.
Team KO once again finding difficulty in the game of Miramar. They are currently right at the bottom of the rankings. MegaX still in a decent position though for the time being. Team KO, they do get their buddy back up and runs away. Out comes a spray, doesn't find Paradox. Paradox hitting with a mini. He's in a great position to just move around here. They are locked down. I think this is it for Team KO.
Well, they're certainly going to lose 2 here, I think. Not going to be too happy with that one. The nades start to come through. Encore doesn't even need to chime in. Swag starting to push on forwards. They have a teammate across the way, but nowhere near enough to go for any help whatsoever.
Swag raid the drop on them. 2 down, like you say, John. And the rest of Team KO scurry away, sadly.
The rotation from Orb as they start to mount up on the eastern side again. They've now left the site of the fight. Mayhem have drawn level with them now, so those rotations will come in parallel. The question is, do they rotate around over the hill? It is pretty treacherous ground as we tune in with Xspark.
Scout just finishes off Nima there. Again, look at the rotations. The positioning is really strong from Xspark right now. They have all the angles covered. Vcash just over the hill here, and Scout is looking for him. Rusin obviously down. We'll just leave him to it.
The rotations, yeah. Salty, they just want to keep on driving by. They don't want any piece of this pie. The Waste trying to maintain a high ground, but has to mount up as well. The next circle will push them on in. as everyone's zoning in towards El Pozo. Now, going into the town is very dangerous. It's a lot easier to get in than to get out. If the circle moves away from El Pozo, if there's no buildings into the next zone, it's going to be very tricky for teams to exit because of the way that you can hold compounds, the way you can hold, against compounds is so much different and so effective on Miramar especially.
Vcash still here, Jump. Scout coming to the top side is now in the circle. Paratosh looking for him. Guessing the muscle car comes around the corner, can use that TPP to find him. Comes around, but very, very quick, and Paratosh is just like, bye-bye, son. I'm going to leave you out here in the rain.
Doesn't have any meds, as I said. Only one bandage. Might just opt to go for it, but no, he's biding his time. Very risky game he's playing, but trying to keep them in the game for now. Oh, the next shift is relatively northern. Does still keep El Pozo in, but there's quite a significant chunk of ground outside of town over on the north side.
Entity made their way in on the southeastern side, so they are in that circle for the time being, hoping to stay there as other teams come in. Mayhem have moved all the way from the eastern side now, making their way over as well. Same with GODLIKE, so those teams that were in the blue for quite a while are now in. Snacks looks relatively geared. He has the level 2 vest as well as level 3 helmet, so they're good for the late game. It looks like they got a lot of nice loot from whilst they were alone in that first circle.
Oh, Hyper may be in trouble here as they're running straight into INS, Blank. These shots can come through from Cartoons and just rattle it down. Look at them go. Already one down, one very low. One took a little bit of damage from Hype. They take the fight at a disadvantage, but Cartoons just gets popped.
They are down the hill. Party Car provides a lot of support, though, in terms of cover. Looks like INS, they're just going to try and create the smoke train to get out of there, try and chug away from Hype. In comes a nade, they need to move away from it. Doesn't finish off anyone. Nixon, waiting on the side, however. It looks like Smokey is taking a little bit of a risk by peeking him. But Hype currently have all players back up. I believe Snake was rezzed, or it's in the current process of being. No, he is up.
Yeah. A lot of the teams who have started to move towards the circle are in El Pozo. We probably won't see too much fighting into the next circle, but once it pops, it might prompt a little bit of a fight. We'll have to wait and see, but everyone can maintain a little bit of proximity once they're in that settlement as well.
Yeah, there's absolutely no control over the northern side of the circle either, John, so whoever gets up there quickly, if the circle does make up there, like GODLIKE, who are in a position to do it, might have a really, really strong position over by the row, just holding it out. Smokey and the boys looking to just get out of there, the foot on the metal, and just really, really push this vehicle back into the circle. Hype, they know they have to leave as well. They know they have to get back in, but they've got the pilot vehicle to do it. All is good.
I just want to draw attention to the rotation that Xspark are making as well. They are rotating all the way clockwise. Hopefully they're going to continue to go towards the north. It is a very, very isolated zone. There's no one really there. If they can control the outside of El Pozo on the northern flank, with the next circle coming in, if it pushes people out of the city, they are going to be so, so strong with that position. Whoever takes that spot first will more than likely be coming top 3 at least.
Yeah, Mayhem did lose the player there to a vehicle just being destroyed, but you are right, John. Getting that northern side is going to be really, really useful. But now as we come into the later circles, that blue is going to start to hurt. INS and Mayhem so close to each other. Vishmar over the top, just looking to move down onto reds with Vampire both down.
Yeah, look at that.
Smokes potentially will give him the chance to res his teammates whilst he is just underneath the hill, but all it takes is one play to look over.
Oh, nicely done from Cloak.
Yeah, Cloak, excellent job there. It does like Bishmar has to leave.
Yeah, there's no way you can get for that. The blue is going to start to crunch in about 30 seconds, and they don't have too many vehicles, so they do have to think about moving. The hard shift on the circle, here it goes. Everyone has to leave the city. Team Xspark are still outside of it, but Orb and GODL are already into the next zone. Orb have control of the great fields. The question is, can they control the ridgeline against GODL as well, as Entity Gaming encroach from the south?
Indeed. Xspark now back in the circle, John. They have a very, very clear path. There is no one ahead of them, boys. They will be able to move it all the way around to the north and then hit the eastern side. But now it will be TDX who are also making that same rotation, and look like if Team Xspark can find any kills there. This is a pretty damn good spot that RIP and Entity are occupying, but Entity have the information on. They're going to let them do it and then maybe move over. They do take the spray. It's a lot of damage. Doesn't quite find Naruto. Manages to just side strafe over, and a couple of the bullets actually miss after that.
He only managed to cover about 7 seasons, so he's still got a long way to go.
But yeah, he's got to make it to the end. I mean, there's still Sasuke to approach, to face. Can't go down here.
A lot of teams, though, starting to move on in. MegaX trying to just sail on by. You can see everyone trying to leave from El Pozo. This is the tricky escape that you have to try and face. This is a really deadly zone. Xspark still just going to be super happy with this. IND find themselves pretty happy on the western flank as well. They're still taking a fight to the south, but everyone now leaving El Pozo is going to come up against a really strong set of competition in the form of everybody else trying to do exactly the same.
Jonathan taking down MegaStars swag there. So already, Entity are in a good position, but where Tempest is right now, he is in a sniper's dream position with that M24, able to just lay down fire on everyone. But Mayhem Cloak still sitting in the wings for the time being. But like you said, INS now out. Only 11 teams remaining in this very, very small circle. Team Xbox still moving over to that north-hand side. They are ready to catch anyone who is coming up towards them. And Paradox gets out the car a little bit too quickly.
2 knocks now onto 2 members of Xspark. They've been caught out just a little bit. Oace, though, is still up top with Paratosh, so they do have that northern side. They should be okay. No way that they go back down to res the rest of their 2 teammates against the entirety of Team IND with a compound in the circle. I'm looking really at GODLIKE. They have a really strong position over towards the eastern side of the map as it comes to the next set of circles. Orb, though, could prove pretty tricky to deal with if they try to breach the top of the crater.
Aman is laying down shots so far, John. He is just taking aim before he does get knocked by Tempest. Tempest has been holding this high ground spot for so long. Ronak from Team Xbox will go down. Not out yet, though. And it looks like RRP are just trying to control this spot, control this position, and NT is really the thorn in their side right now, so they can get rid of them, then they can start to move it around. But this is a very, very cool final circle location. Look at the vertical opportunities available to these teams.
It's got so much terrain to play with. Nades will come in incredibly useful in terms of the damage that you can impact, because throwing them up onto those ledges can catch anyone by surprise. It's really hard to deal with. The shift comes in southeast. GODLIKE happy again. Orb, they can push up towards the lip of the crater now. They do want to move on in just yet, but everybody else is going to fight in the foothills of the crater itself.
Reds looking very Reds himself, as it will look like Tempest just paints him with the bullet shots through the middle. Tempest now looking again with the M24. He sees the vehicle. Someone's got to be near there, and he is right. Hasn't spotted them. Looks like the entirety of RIP have survived after making a very long rotation to get into this position and just controlling it marvelously. AJ, he is crawling, but the scope itself actually stopped Tempest from seeing him. Now finally Reds will go down. And with that, I believe that is Mayhem done. Actually, I think Cloak's still alive somewhere and kicking.
We'll have to see if he has an impact, but Rip Official, they're doing decently around this area of the map. They have control of the top of the hill. Everyone else is trying to find a little home in the crenellations of the foothills of those cliff faces around them. But on the other side of the circle, of course, you still have those fights going on. Xspark have managed to find themselves in IND. Are going to be pretty happy, and Xspark actually getting a little bit of retribution, as I think just one of the members of IND just got completely wiped.
Yeah. IND behind them, giving a little bit of issue. Now, Entity is on the bottom here, making it very, very easy for Tempest just to peek his little head over the top and just bring the storm to them. SOLTISQUAD will finally go down, then that is AJ out. Taken by the storm itself, the blue.
Entity are actually in a decent spot here. They do have a very close Rip Official up the top of the hill, but GODLIKE's just zoning them away. They don't really want to go for the fight. He's got the nades, he's got the trajectory, might just look for it as well. Spots one over the top, cooks it up, tries to bounce it, but not going to be able to get the damage just yet. They're going to be pretty happy. They're right on the edge of the next circle, and Orb have started to climb up against the top of that lip, which means that Rip have so much more to worry about as it comes forward. Tempest pops out, he will see that. He can't go back in. Molotov there. Has to go for the fight. Beautiful play from GODLIKE, and no one else can really capitalize. Pushing up confirms the kill.
GODLIKE really forced the hand of Tempest. Now he has to deal with a couple more members of RIP. Sky over on the side, but there is a bit of cover blocking him away. Entity Neo does go down. This fight is massive right now. Naruto also taking a lot of fire. A man looking to secure, get that 1 point in there. GODLIKE finally down, but Legend so low. Now
1v1.
Jonathan, he's making the push in. There is still members of Entity alive. He will take some painkillers, but Legend, look, one bullet will take him
there he
down, and
goes.
that's him out. RIP, despite the massively good positioning on the high ground, and now out of this circle in 8th. A really poor position in terms of placement.
And that's what I was talking about. The nades came in super useful. The HE to try and just zone him back in. And as soon as that Molotov came down, there was no cover. He tried to fall back, but he forgot about it. Beautifully played by Entity, confirming those kills.
Mayhem cloak just hiding behind the vehicle. Didn't think anyone was there. There's still one player from TDX. He's using the cover of the fucking so well. One more bullet.
It's gonna go
but
up.
it's so much. Oh! Anish finally takes him down. Mayhem Cloak had been in that position for so long. They basically thought he was dead.
Next circle is going to come in. It's going to move everyone west. Orb finally have to leave the safety of the crater. They have to move on down the hillside. Xspark over on the northern side, but GODLIKE, they're spread out. They have control of so much of the ground here that it's going to be really difficult to try and push in against them if no one gets the picks, but Entity have overlook.
They do. Team Xspark, they are not safe at all here. The blue is pushing them in, and GODLIKE is still in front of them. Entity, they look like they're very strong here. Despite so many players of theirs going down, they still have 3 alive.
Oh dear, the Destroyers.
Rocking up.
Everybody's just bearing down on them. No way that they get out of this one with much more than a penny to their name.
It was the Cloak and Dagger that did it for them. Cloak just hiding in the wings, and he pops out. How comes Entity? The quick flick round. Batman himself drops into the party.
Yeah, he's having a great time there, but they are going to be able to take that one down. Everyone else trying to move on forwards. Of course, the circle is going to start to push people forwards. 5 teams remain now, blank. GODLIKE, they have got a lot of ground, but they are pretty much low down when it comes to it. MegaStars still on that western side, have a lot of control as well. Oh, I think that was Xspark just going down in 5th.
Gone. Paratosh, the final member. Very sad for Xspark. I think if they made a quicker rotation, perhaps they had a better chance there, but they were fighting off a lot of teams at the same time. Jonathan taking a couple of hits there, will go down. It is Orb. They've had such a tough time of it on Sanhok and Erangel. Now it's time for Entity to come through. Neo just surviving. Jonathan will be firsted there, out of the game. Now only 2 members remain of Entity, and it is MegaVex gone down below, really putting the hurt on them.
They've only got 3 kills as a team so far, but it seems like they're still doing the work. GODLIKE have 7 for themselves as well. They've been controlling a lot of this ground, remember, and there's a lot of kills still to be picked up, so they could be in with a really high kill game if they play the cards right. But Entity have a real struggle now. There's so much open ground in this next circle that everyone is pretty much already in their final positions.
Indeed. In comes a loot drop as well. That's actually going to provide cover for a team
for
more than
Entity.
anything. Yeah, Entity can actually push onto that. A man taking a lot of shots. Doesn't quite go down yet, but it will be Leo. Punts the final shot into him. I will be finally out of the game, and it's just Neo left now, and I think they can see him. He is quite visible.
Was that a nade onto the position? I think it was. It was pretty good. It should have spread them out. Not too much found. GODLIKE now need to push on forwards towards MegaStars' position. Entity Gaming still at their backs, though, so it's going to be pretty tricky to try and get an entire push. It's only Neo, remember. 3 teams left remaining.
Indeed. And Mega look like they're in such a good spot right now, John. 4 players remaining, especially on Miramar, where you can fan out quite a lot here. You need those 4 players. Final boss looking to put the final bullets into Neo, but Neo just sitting pretty on this high ground, doing his makeup, making sure that everything is fine up here. He's going to try and remain. He's going to try and remain for as long as possible. If you can play for that second place, sorry. That'll be doing a lot for him with only 2 members from GODLIKE.
I've just looked at how many kills this team has, by the way. Entity.
Whoa!
14 kills for this squad.
Okay.
Huge kills. Remember, of course, they got that 4 kills right at the start, and they have been fragging out ever since. Miramar seems to be their stomping ground, and if they can get a 2nd or even a 3rd place, they are going to do phenomenally well. Extend that lead.
The thing is here is that Neo actually has really good overlook over here from the 3rd-person position he has, and everywhere that MegaX has to move is over very open ground. Mafia is coming towards Neo, however, right now, he is just looking for him. He will use the cover of that crate to try and take that fight, but Mafia holding him back for the time being, and it looks like GODLIKE are trying to set themselves up for this 2nd place. Neo will take him out, though, looking for the finish, get that 15 pointers in there.
He's gone very low. I don't think Mafia can get rezzed here. Only has the bandages, remember. If he gets it, he's going to steal it!
You cheeky blighter!
Oh dear, that's 15 kills coming out from Entity as they finally go down, but...
He will get the bleed out as well.
That's true if Final Boss doesn't spot it out. If Mafia does go down like that, I believe he might get the kill. We'll have to see who comes up on the kill feed. Mafia almost going to go down. Isn't going to get spotted out. It does go to Mega. Oh, okay.
Oh,
the explosion
that's
comes on through.
unfortunate. Now it is
Okay.
just Kiki. Stuck between 3 members and 1, and this is all but done now. Using the crate, trying to stay alive, but I just don't think it's enough, John. Leo now rushing on in. Kiki waiting on the ground, and he's so visible. That will be it. Mega will take the win there. Very nicely done. They fanned out perfectly, getting those 4 members to the end. Sure, they only got 7 kills, but I think that 20 points for the first placement, they're going to be very happy with that one.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm pretty sure Entity might even be able to top the charts out if GODLIKE don't take it either. 7 kills going to the top 1 and 2 place teams there, but Entity, they come in, that was 15 kills total. That's a huge chunk of points.
Massive, massive.
That's essentially a 3rd place on its own.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so easy for them. So now you can be sure that they are definitely going to be in first place in overall placements.
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the 3rd game, and really, if we can see the same on Erangel, which will be our next map, something similar where they get towards the last circle, they are pretty much secured first place for the first day. Here we are going to see a couple of highlights. Orb, I think, have done a really good job to turn it around in this 3rd game. You're sure they didn't make it all the way to the end, but there is some massive improvements I'm seeing from this team so far.
Great to see them coming on through. Of course, it is still early days. We see it time and time again. Players come in, they change over the course of these tournaments. During group stages, there's flips, there's flops, there's all sorts of drops. But everyone finds their place in the end. But what remains true is the fact that the first day is not always the best barometer when it comes to the performance for the rest of the games to come.
For sure, you got to also factor in nerves on the first day. Is this, because obviously you're starting this tournament, you're like, I really want to do well in it. And PUBG Mobile is quite a stressful game in of itself. You're getting to those end points, making sure you survive as long as possible. Only 1 life per game. I think on the first day, we can definitely say that some of these teams, sure, they are better than others, but it might not remain the same as we go through the tournament. So, yeah.
Although, to be fair, Entity, consistency is the name of their game so far. They've been top 3 3 times in a row now for all of these games moving forward. So I'll be excited to see how much they've been able to rack up already in this first day.
Yeah,
and to be honest, they've probably already done enough to make sure that they go through to the semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you're playing so consistent like that, where, like you say, top 3 games in a row, now really we just need to see that on this final map on Erangel, and you're right, semi-finals might already be in reach for them.
I think it's every team plays, I think it's either, I think it might be 12 maps.
It's 12.
12 maps overall, which means that 3 sets of 4 will come through for every single squad. So hopefully they'll be able to get a couple more repeat performances as well to move on forward. So
In day 2.
Really looking forward to seeing what Entity have in store for us.
Absolutely. So really, next what we're hoping to see is when we go to Erangel, obviously teams have already played this map now, so they already have a feel for where teams want to go and where they want to go in particular. We are going to go over to a quick break though before we do drop into Erangel, so we will see you guys very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Hi there, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split for South Asia. I'm joined today with John, and we've just had 3 games already. We hit up Erangel, Sanhok, and Miramar. Entity showing themselves on top for the time being. We don't currently have the map 3 scores yet, but we will get them to you later. For the time being, we're going to go over to Erangel next, which should be an interesting one. Like we were saying before, John, do you think these teams are going to change anything up now that they've already played it?
They probably should do. Any teams that didn't have the best start based on someone else dropping with them might opt to go for somewhere different. Of course, the playing path could completely change it up. We did see southeast all the way up to northwest before, I believe. No. It was it was the other way around. It was northwest down to southeast. But of course, if it's a southern cut, that's going to change everything completely. So it does rely on the playing path, but you know those primary drops should have been sorted out when it comes to that first game.
Yeah, you were saying about how teams might avoid each other, but I think Entity and Salty, you might see Salty drop an Entity just full on like send for them again. That seems to be the thing.
Or maybe Portal Esports as well. They might come a cropper around those guys as well.
Yeah.
Entity with a 15 kill game last time.
Almost hit up the 16 if it wasn't for the vehicle and those dastardly kids. So sad times all in all for them. But a 15 kill game is pretty massive this early on in the tournament. We'll see if anyone can top that as we move into day 2 and so on.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good to see, of course. Everyone's just going to get a little bit more adjusted, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, Xspark can have a decent shout. They came 5th in the previous game, of course. That was pretty decent of them. They were playing as a duo as well, so really nice to see that one come through.
Yeah, I mean, this is all in all been a really, really fun day. I think we've seen some excellent play from the South Asian teams. I think that Entity, obviously, like I say, consistency. Team Xspark's also impressed me. And there've been a load of really other cool teams as well that we're seeing new blood come into this one. MegaStars and obviously MegaX, they had a bit of a difficult time where we actually saw them get the circle look of heavens. But unfortunately, they just didn't do enough with it. And this is something we were talking about when we saw SOLTISQUAD before, or GODLIKE, sorry, who got a really nice circle position in Paradise Resort when we were playing on Sanhok, and they did a lot with it, and they got towards the end. If you get that circle look, you have to make sure it pays off. And I think, to be honest with you, MegaStars and MegaX kind of just wait around until the end. Obviously, MegaStars, they came out on top, and they ended up taking out Entity and GODLIKE, so they did actually use the circle to their advantage, and that's what I like to see.
Plane encroaching yet again, this time around from the south going northeast. So Georgia Pole a little bit harder to get to this time around. We saw quite a few teams vying for that spot, but now we might see a few more over on the military island instead. Maybe a little bit more contest for Milta and Primorsk. There's a lot of teams out early, but they might be heading over to Quarry to Ferry Pier, trying to maintain there. But how many teams is that? That is quite a lot. I think that's about 3 or 4, maybe even 5.
There's a lot of teams coming out very, very early from the plane as it moves on across. But obviously this kind of makes getting over to Georgia Port a little bit more difficult, and that heavy hot loot zone a bit more tough to actually go over and loot up. But look at this, most teams out, and you got a big gap between when we're seeing PES and RIP coming out the plane now. It looks like Team Xspark very, very confident they will be dropping there in military base and hanging on for the time being.
Pretty much spread out. Xspark over in military, very nice. Northern side of the map though, you got MegaStars probably heading over to Zaverny. That's where they dropped in the previous map, remember. Lipovka coming in what looks like Portal Esports. Get that one in, but the circle pops. Southwest is the name of the game. That means that the military island's still in it, and seeing who's going to be able to win it.
Yeah, western side pretty clear for the time being. this doesn't still work out for Team Xspark though, because really they still have to go over one of these bridges at some point. They will be heavily looted up. MegaX also on the eastern side of the island, but they're going to have to vie for control with Team Xspark at some point. Team Destroyers are just going to hit up the gas station, see if they can pick up a little bit of extra energy as we move into map 4, the final map of the day, before we close out here for South Asia and wait for day 2.
Everyone just still looting up. I doubt Hype want to take this fight at all. Even though all bar split, it's just not worth it. Early fights always end well for pretty much both teams, with the exception, of course, of Entity in the previous game. Going pretty well. Actually, no, wait, I take that back, because even in the game before that, it was the guys in Paradise Resort who came about 3rd as well. So,
yeah.
So I rescind that. If you're a dominant first fight...
Take it back.
If you're a dominant first fight, sure, that's great. But if you take extended first fights, it's just going to eat away at your potential armor, your potential meds, and placement, although less important than it was last season, it's still very, very impactful when it comes to those score lines moving forwards. A lot of teams already into the next zone, zoning in around Pachinki. A couple of teams near Rosok, just a little bit further south as well as Mayhem. Rip Official, though, already making a bid for that western side. Nobody really on the western side of the island. No one in Gatka, no one in South Georgia's. Rip will claim that. No one on the west coast, no one near Quarry. So a lot of these teams will have to find their footing there. But there's a lot of teams around both of the bridges going towards that main island. Masik trying to pop off with the pistol.
I mean, John Wick himself here in action. Mazik getting a little bit of revenge from last game. Nixon, he's just going 12. He's just spraying him down. That's fine. First kill of the game there will be Nixon himself. Gurka so far away as well. I mean, I'm not sure what Hype were thinking by just running across that road willy-nilly. Something bad was going to happen. They just knew it.
Yeah, they didn't get the better end of the stick there, losing a player early on, but they are still in with a pretty decent shout. The rest of them relatively looted up. Not sure Turtle wants to peek on that side of the building. Does, in fact, think better of it, so nicely done. Yeah. But for now, they'll just try and bide their time. You've got GODLIKE kind of across the way over in Milta, who might try and roll on through. Of course, the rotations from Yasnaya can come through. We haven't even looked at that, but as we go over to them, it's Entity and Salty, both vying for spots. But Yasnaya is so big that it can maintain at least 3 teams and loot them all up. So they should all be pretty okay with that. But this is what we saw last time again.
Is it? I told you.
It's the same maneuver. It's exactly what happened.
I told you that this would happen. I told you that Entity would send for Salty. Again, I mean, they absolutely have. They can smell them in front, and they're just nipping at the heels.
But this is what happened last time. Entity, they positioned really well into Yasnaya. They took the side flanks, and they were able to just rattle it down. So very nicely done again to have the same effect. Salty obviously not learning the lesson.
Yeah, really the only safe thing for Salty at this point is if they've got a vehicle set up and ready to bug out when the time comes. And if they don't, Entity can pull that maneuver off. And suddenly things start to seem a lot more dire for Salty Squad there. ETG.Brawlers, they're currently just chilling over here in Rozok, looting everything they can. I mean, it doesn't look like any other team will be kind of vying for position here with them. So they should be okay just to loot up, make sure they are ready for that late game.
No one really going for those fights. It looks like Hype have sort of been able to disengage. Xspark are making their way now across the bridge from Military Island on this rotation. The Destroyers have made their way out west towards Quarry, and they have got a little bit of a nice area to be playing with. Salty, they're very close together. Entity should be able to get the information here, and as well as being pretty looted. Neo should be able to peek out the window, but now they're moving on, and actually Neo in a really tricky spot. Not sure if they spotted him. He might just spot something out, makes the break for it as well. I think they heard it.
Oh my lord. This is one crazy fool. He's basically doing laps here, backwards and forwards.
This is good from Neo.
Yeah, straight out, getting the UAS and bug out. But now they have the information. I mean, before he got in the vehicle, he did pull out a can of spray paint, just quickly spray paint the whole thing, very, very quickly. A master artsman himself. It is a very, very nice skin.
I think that's the one from the previous PMCO.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
No. It's I believe it's a bait. It's the bait UAZ.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that the monkey on the top.
Yeah. And the monkey in the middle.
The monkey in the middle, which is Neo himself. He was like, "Ooh, gotta get him out of there as soon as possible."
Cheeky monkey.
Yeah, but now Salty also have info on Entity Gaming, and now I know the exact same car, obviously, because they have the skin, and they're going to make the same maneuver. This feels like very much deja vu, John. Are we currently casting game 1 or game 4? That's the real question.
Absolutely, one of those two.
Yeah, I would know. I've been here.
I would know. I've casted one of them. Oh dear. Portal Esports have made the rotation away from Lipovko. They were on the east coast of Erangel. Now they've made their way into this next circle. GODLIKE still yet to leave Milta. They're still looting up on that side. MegaX, who were over in Novo, southeastern side of the map over on military. They are going to start to move up over the bridge on the eastern side and try and get the cross. It's relatively undefended at the moment, and Xspark won't be so lucky on the western side of military. There's about 3 teams around the funnel that is the exit from that western bridge.
Yeah, MegaX have basically got a free pass. They have the whole pass across the big bridge, so they're going to make it through very, very easy. Unless GODLIKE have anything to say about Team Xspark, like you say, they're going to have a tougher time of it. They're going to have to pay the toll if they want to cross that bridge, and they have to pay the toll to 3 separate bloody teams.
Yeah, triple charging, not something anyone wants to come up against.
Come on, Vegeta. What are you playing?
He's not got a great power level going on like that.
Not really. That's a power level under 100. If
Under
ever I saw
100.
it.
It's
Yeah.
probably like a 3.
Good, a solid 3.
It dropped to 3, it went back up to about 50.
Yeah. And
After
now
that.
it's hovering around about there until I see different.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep you updated on Vegeta's power level as the game progresses.
As the tournament progresses now, we're gonna keep checking in on that one.
Oh yeah. The Destroyers have control of the West. They are the edge gamers of this tournament so far. Every single game so far, they have been just in an area where nobody else is. Unfortunately, they haven't had great luck when it comes to those final fights. Maybe they're not super used to fragging, but they're slowly racking up those placements. They're just getting the way. They're chugging along, going to those semifinals. That's what they want to find themselves.
Miramar, they did a little bit better there. Obviously, they had a lot of early fights, but in the end, they managed to make it through. PS now. On all sides, Khan is controlled by Team IND. Can he do anything about it? Doesn't like any of his teams nearby.
No, nowhere near. The rest of the team
All
have to roll
in
through 2
vehicles.
teams.
What can he do here, really?
Die.
Nothing.
He has
Yeah.
to die.
Yeah. I mean, what you usually do, Khan, is when your team rotates, you go with them.
He's not, he doesn't take after Genghis on this one.
Not at all. He tends to keep himself quite minimal and less populated as well.
Oh dear, Western shift again on the circle. The Destroyer's happy with that one. The bridge now starting to get crossed as Xspark make their way on through. Previously, it was Team IND who had claimed the military base in previous
just
seasons.
gets a loot crate for free though.
We'll see what they get. Yeah, no, great pickup for them. They'll be able to get that level 3 armor in early. 4 teams at the mouth of the bridge, but they have already managed to make the cross now, so they have that foothold. Paratosh should be relatively safe when he wants to try and make that move. The MegaStars over in the north side are still there. Entity Gaming, by the way, and Salty over on the northeastern side, making that rotation from Yasnaya. Still both very close to each other. They have to make their way through Rozhok, which at the moment is occupied by Mayhem. So they will have to make that push, those 3 teams clashing for the northeastern side, just north of Pachinki in the next circle.
Indeed. Rozhok seems to be a little bit of place of contestation here. Wolf now goes down. That's your punishment for leaving a man behind. It's unfortunate, but Hype, obviously, they've got... Oh, they've also left a member behind, so I mean, they're both in the same boat. We're trying to look for redemption here. This is some hell of a spray. Raymond can get away. He'll be very, very lucky.
Still firing on. Trying to just get rid of the vehicle. Would leave him pretty much high and dry, but unfortunately
I feel so sorry for this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the vehicle should explode. This seems
yeah,
like
it's
a very...
gone.
This seems... Oh, it's gone already. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say, this seems a very poor decision crawling towards that. But obviously, on the other side of that, the team behind will definitely have heard it. Team KO, who have been having a pretty difficult time so far in the past 3 map, maybe looking to take 1 kill here. I don't know if it's their first kill, but it would be nice if they did pick it up onto Raymond. He is quite exposed currently behind this car.
Vegeta is on the other side of Team KO. So he does have a little bit of Overwatch, but Salty and MYM still have to push on in.
That's from behind there. Obviously, Team Xspark coming up on the back of Hype after hearing all that gunfire on the hill. I mean, that's what happens when you start firing off about 100 rounds into a single vehicle.
Entity Gaming, they've made their way into the center of the circle now. They are with the central teams.
Yes!
Salty not so lucky.
Get in, Team KO. I actually genuinely think that is your first kill. So we'll give it to him.
Fantastic.
We'll
Nicely
see what
done.
happens after the final scores come up after this game. A hype now. Currently, Gurkha is down.
Oh, no.
Ronak with the rest of this team. They are blasting their way in. Scout comes over the high ground. Smokes are down. Turtle currently on his own. That's it. Awais finds him from all the way back there. What a shot.
Able to get it done. There's the nade over to try and zone them away. Looking to get one res at the moment. Awais now starting to move in. Look at the rotations, how fast they're planning around this.
It's like
the
a
hillside
shark around water.
is controlled. In the meantime, by the way, Entity have had 2 knocks, but I think they managed to get away with it, and they are going to be able to flow out. But the rotations from Xspark just absolutely on point. Snake is going to fall, and with it, Hype as well.
And that is their final game of today, done for Hype. Team Xspark, so strong. Like I said, like the fin was just out of the water, and as soon as the drip of blood dropped in, they were on it like a shot, just circling. Scout even covered the direction that they were trying to run in.
I call them more piranhas, to be honest. I mean, they were just, as soon as it hit the water, they were just, nom, 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 nom. Let's get some of those tasty points.
Those tasty points, a bit of tasty Hype. Thank you very much.
Next circle, a little bit further north of that bridge. Really actually good for Xspark. They have a nice spot to be getting on with, but they do have some teams on there, on both sides to be worrying about. Will they be able to hold down that location? It remains to be seen. Entity Gaming still moving relatively nicely as a pack. They did manage to get, I think, at least one of their team members up, so they should be pretty forceful into the next.
Yeah, I don't think Team Xspark is too afraid of Team KO at this point, considering the disparity between them in the scores so far.
Well, it's PUBG Mobile,
It's
dude.
PUBG Mobile,
Anything
anything can happen. So, but for the time being, I do think that Team Xspark have the upper hand in that case. INS currently coming up towards Team IND. Definitely heard them razzing it over the top side in that vehicle. And looks like they might make a move soon. They do have the vehicles primed and ready.
Entity Gaming really unsure about where they can find themselves. They've moved from the east to the west, all the way now down to the middle, towards the south just a little bit. They're really struggling to find a foothold in here, and you can see they're now caught out in the open by Orb. They're a little bit split, so they do have some nice crossfire actually set up, and with it they're going to be able to get at least 1 knock, so a little bit of a treat for them coming on through.
This is the worst spot to be right now inside that shack. Someone can just rock up, toss a nade in, and then it's all over for you. Jonathan so far has been very bloody strong. What are you playing at, mate? Okay, never mind.
Not the
very
greatest.
weak. He went for the big 240 kg chest press, and then it just fell right on top of him. There was no spotter there whatsoever.
Oh dear, okay. The Xspark actually managed to steal away 2 of those kills.
I mean, they were in the building across the road. Like, what are you playing at, lad?
Oh, he's blown up the door.
That's actually a nice bit of cover, actually, though. Now that they have that in the way, it has slightly opened up this very tiny space available to them.
They do have a teammate as well in Mazik, who is a little bit further away.
They're like, please, Mazik, come help us. We helped you at Miramar, now it's your time to shine. Please. Please, look at us. Where do we go? There is nowhere for us to go. We cannot leave. I mean, the problem, even if they try and sneak out of here right now...
It's just Neo for Entity.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they try and sneak out of there through the grass, it doesn't matter because it won't render at the distance that Team Xspark are firing from, so they'll immediately see them.
Xspark looking pretty good at the moment on that southern side. The Destroyers, by the way, still on the edge. No surprises there. Nowhere near anybody else. They take what they're given and they'll get away with it too, it seems. So
Please, sir, please let us out. I just want to leave.
Vegeta still in the fray as well for Portal Esports as the solo player for them on the eastern side of the map. These fields, really very treacherous, very difficult, but with the snaking coming on through, it seems to be that will be the meta. The hillside is going to get circled in on, though. So a nice turn up for the books for the likes of ETG.Brawlers, for MegaX as well.
Erangel is very much a map where you have to move from location to location, where you've got that high ground, you scan it out, get yourself to the next compound, and so on and so forth. Here, like you were saying, though, because there's fields, it's very flat ground for a little bit of that farming. But in this case, the team's going to be farming players rather than actual crops because it is so flat and so easy to see them. Oh, they're just going to leave them.
Yeah, Xbox.
You stay in there.
Orb don't want to take the fight. They're already focused on trying to take down IND, so it was a really nice timing on the rotation. For the scout for Xbox, you have to remember that it is the bulk of them that are left behind. Scouts finding a foothold in the foothills. The rest of them do need to follow up, but the fights continue to rain on through as this is a dangerous circle.
Very, very much so. All the teams are starting to blast their way, and it looks like everyone's got vehicles of their own. In particular, MegaStars are making themselves into the vehicle now, the previous winners from the last game. They are all the way on top of ETG.Brawlers, looking to make a statement, but RIP from the sidelines as well will have spotted them.
Nade's going back and forth. Final boss.
Nice nade, that is.
Takes a lot of damage, but Frost goes down.
Iconic cannot move forward now because he will be in the sightlines of MegaStars. But again, RIP, they're starting to put the hurt in. MegaStars lose one player. That's going to make it a little bit easier for ETG.Brawlers to bring it back. Obmatic still helping from the back lines.
In inverted commas.
Indeed. He actually does get he's actually pulling his weight big time here. He's pulling that 240 kg chest press off the boys. The barbell is relieved.
Xspark have managed to coalesce themselves back together as a squad in the meantime, but on this southwestern side, everybody's just playing around these defilés, around these trees and dropping the smokes. A little bit early, I'd have to say. Before Phase 5 is not when you want to be investing your smokes at all. An Entity still in with a shout as well, it seems, with Neo going off. Okay, he's going to be able to pick up some kills.
I mean, after that last game, we were saying that Entity really needs to make it towards that top 5, top 6 placement to really ensure that they do make it all the way to the top of the leaderboard when we do finish this map. Now, with only one player, a lot of stock is been put into Neo right now, and he's got a lot of pressure on his back. So will he break under the pressure like a bit of coal, or will that coal be formed into a diamond with a heavy amount of stress applied to him?
I'll tell you what's happened, though, again, is that MegaX have found themselves in a really strong spot into the circle. They've got themselves compound, and it is going to go their way. Or picking up a couple of kills over onto Salty, and I think that might be Salty eliminated as well, so they are going to go down. That was the team that was in the way of Neo as well for Entity, so they can start to make their way through. Orb, however, taking the place of the squad, so they might have a little bit of trouble for them. The Destroyer's still over on nobody else's turf. Just doing nothing. Well, not doing nothing. Playing smart. That's what they're doing.
No, it's a smart place. Tactical, tactical. Don't come near me. We won't come near you. Let's try and get to the top 3, boys. Let's have a gentleman's fight. Thank you very, very much. Now, RIP still in a good position, though. They have not lost any member as of yet, and they do have sightlines on MegaStars. Looks like they don't know they're here either, despite actually taking a casualty from them earlier. They are keeping an eye on INS as well. They do know they're down there. Legend obviously keeps putting his cursor over the boys down that side. ETG, though, despite having such a tough time of it, have managed to get their 4th player back up again, and they are still controlling the hillside.
Circle now coming in, of course, a hard shift to the south. He's going to zone on, actually, in a really good spot for Xspark. They find themselves yet again in a good situation. The Destroyers have to move on through, but they have a relatively clear path. Again, they can just move along this hillside. There's plenty of tree cover. So now it's a hill game. Mayhem still to move as well from the eastern side as everyone starts to crunch in on this southwest.
The major scare for RIP right now is because from what we've seen from them, they have been very fixated on INS and MegaStars. If Destroyers come in, they will absolutely know where RIP is. If they don't turn around, they'll get that 180 flick on them. The Destroyers can absolutely demolish them as they come through. And now ETG, they just have to worry about yet another team. And it looks like Team Xspark taking a leaf out of the Destroyers, but keeping themselves very, very clear of a lot of harm. Just trying to basically keep Team KO guarded from that edge side. Legend, though, goes for the spray, does find one. They have slowly creeped their way in over to MegaStars. 2 are knocked. It's just Vex, who is still up, while currently in front.
Mayhem are getting knocked as well, left and right. They're not going to be happy with that one as they continue to move on forwards. GODLIKE taking punishment as well. That eastern rotation proving very difficult for everybody involved as Mayhem do fall. ETG.Brawlers on the western side looking to try and control it, but it's going to go down. RIP official, doing a lot of work now.
Yeah, well, I mean, MegaStars are now officially RIP as well, so very, very tough times all in all. They were just absolutely crunched, and now RIP, after slowly just flowing over this hillside, they can finally start to deal with ETG.Brawlers. Legend gets himself to a nice bit of cover behind this car and the tree, with the cover also from the hill as it starts to dip as we come over this edge.
That's Team KO knocked out in the top right, in the northeast of the map currently, by MegaX, who have started to think about leaving their compound. Team Xspark as well, still holding it down against both Entity Neo and the 2 players remaining from... Sorry, not Team KO weren't knocked out. That was a team... I can't remember which team it was then in the Northeast that did go down. But KO are still vying for that spot. They lose 1. And there's the confirm over onto Vicious. So nicely held down by Xspark.
So, as we can see here, MegaX currently looking down onto Team KO. But that also means that Team Xspark are in their sights. I think Xspark got themselves a nice little hill to play around with, but they will have seen the fire coming down from MegaX, so they will have that information firmly planted in their minds. And very, very hard shift off to the west side. Team Xspark, Team KO, MegaX not going to be happy with that one, whereas ETG, despite all the hurt they've received, a little bit of luck has just been thrown their way.
Yeah, they have a couple of trees to work with, but I'd say that the power at the moment lies with Rip Official. They have an excellent spread. They have excellent cover. They've got the circle at their back. They might opt to just move some of those vehicles around and get a little bit better of a cover. And you can see they're already trying to get that volley down onto INS, who are on that southern flank. The push needs to come through relatively soon from Xspark, but they are going to come up against some stiff competition. Everyone now starting to move on through, and I'm imagining we're going to see our top 5 coalesce relatively soon.
For sure. AJ will go down. Sadly for him, the explosion will finish him off as well. Snacks doing the work there. Tempest over on the side there with the sniper. He's a great scout. Put a sniper in his hand as well. We've seen nothing but kills coming from that guy as well. Really, really well played. And he's got a lot of cover from that hillside. However, RIP, they have a strong position here because no one's on their back. Team IND now starting to lay on the hurt. Neo still out and kicking. This guy is looking to put himself in that top 6 position like we were talking about earlier, and he is in a really good position to do it.
Oasis has gone down as well, I believe, so that's 2 down for Xspark as they make that rotation. Paratosh! Ronak is trying to get the cover down onto the back line, but it's still Neo taking the fight. Oh dear, Paratosh falls, and now it's just Ronak, and that might eliminate them from trying to be able to zone away Neo, but Neo goes for the shot. He's not quite able to get it. He's not quite able to land it onto Neo, and they are going to try and allow Entity still to maintain it. Brawler and ETG.Brawlers, what luck again. They get a crate. They get the drop. Fantastic for them.
Mate, the gods are smiling on this team right now. Neo just made a mad dash as well towards the tree to get some cover. He really just wants to make it into that top 5 position, make sure he gets those placement points. He has got a few kills to his name as well, so this is going really well for them. Out goes Anesh from Team Destroyers. ETG, once again, they're in such a fine position for themselves.
Yeah.
Just because they're basically just prayed, and the miracles, they have just been flowing upon them.
Neo is trying to crash straight into Team IND at the moment. A very difficult task, to be sure. He's going to make the break for it. Already taking a little bit of damage, but he's going to stay up. But no, he falls. Kratos going to eliminate them down in 7th. Still, not terrible. They aren't going to be too happy with that. And as I say, that Xspark as well get eliminated. So now we're down to our top 5 in the set.
Team Destroyers just finding it out versus MegaX, but they have got the position around them right now. Anesh on the floor. He's actually back up, both prone. I think that Snacks might be able to do the work here as he sprays into the smoke. They've got to know they're there. The smoke is starting to lift as well.
Only one remains. Trying to get that spray down. Not quite able to get the knock just yet.
Bloody hell.
He's still there. They've only found one and finally
There we go.
able to close it down. The Destroyers go down in 5th. A decent turn up for them, and again, some good placements.
Just as the smog clears as well. MegaX take a breath of fresh air. Well, not for that lad. He's right in front of a flaming vehicle. But they get to sit easy for a little while now that they have basically secured that position on the northern side as they can push it on in. But ETG.Brawlers, like I keep saying, they have been gifted some very good circle look. Now they just have to see it through to the end.
This is a squad that, of course, changed their name from last season, and they did really very well, this set of players. I can't remember what the team name was from the last season, but I believe they did. I think they even placed top in the semi-finals coming on forwards. So really, really good to see them back and kicking and having this sort of performance again. Erangel seems to be their stomping ground at the moment, but Rip Official still very much in it. Is a 4v4v4, which is actually relatively unique, but we do have the wild card in the form of Team IND, who I believe 3 players alive. They might even have, yeah, they do have 3 players alive. There's 15 with 4 teams alive. That's a lot of players looking.
It really is. This is going to put up some massive firefights. And we go, RIP moving to the top side. Legend picks up his first kill. ETG are just playing around this smoke so far. You would have thought there was a misty map right now, but no, it is just all the smokes that have been tossed out from every single player. Nova now looking to hold off MegaX as they coalesce towards the center of the circle.
Nice.
Out comes the explosion.
Oh dear.
Snacks actually killed his own mate there. Accidentally. That is not the best at all. That will actually eat up a lot of equipment. Well, not a lot, but it will eat up some of their equipment they need to make it through to the late game. Legend, though, still on the backside, looking to move himself towards Nova.
MegaX. And the shots slow over their head. Nova trying to send on, but in comes Rip Official as well. IND eliminated now. 3-horse race as Rip Official do start to strike from the side of the blue. This is where the ETG.Brawlers position really starts to get crunched on as Rip come into their own.
ETG.Brawlers look like they're basically placed themselves in an Iron Maiden here, and the doors are closing and each team spikes towards them. MegaX in a good position, but so lacking on life right now. Paradox will go down, RIP. They've just been so dominant this game on Erangel. Legend takes a little bit of fire. This team immediately blasts back at them.
12 kills for MegaX so far. They've had a very good game, so they shouldn't be too put out if they do go down here. Third place with that many kills.
Through the window!
It's huge, but ETG.Brawlers are trying to go huge as well.
Vehicle's not actually blown up yet. Tempest does not take the blastback damage from it. Iconic trying to move this one in. Naruto will take down Paradox. This is very much a scary game for ETG. Just one player. The spray is good though. And RIP, after having such an amazing game, will finish out strong here on map.
11 kills coming in from Rip Official. A huge amount of kills as well, as we saw from the MegaX squad. They are going to be pretty chuffed with that one. So a really good turn up for a lot of these squads. Entity finishing out in 7th. They did manage to pick up 5 kills, however, so a decent showing from them. That should be enough to just be able to carry them on through 7th position. That's more than respectable.
All right, boys, I'm sorry. We're going to be a really big tease here, and unfortunately our scoreboard information isn't quite there yet today, but we will have it available for you tomorrow. So if you do want to see that, and you want to see how the final scores actually came up, you'll have to come back tomorrow to check that one out. I do apologize in advance for that, but we are going to have some highlights to make it up for you.
Yeah, and of course, I believe that the stats and standings should be available on the website, clubopen.pubgmobile.com.
Absolutely, you can check that out though.
If not now, so you can keep up to date like that. So
there's that John Wick moment.
Yeah,
onto Nixon.
Nicely done for my magic. But it's really strong as well from these positioning standpoints, how the South Asian region has adapted now to be able to play around terrain and make strong position decisions. Rip Official, really nicely done there. They swept out the area and they were able to claim it, so nice to see that coming on back. This was an unfortunate crash from Jonathan. I think this spelled the doom of Entity.
It was really slow.
He was just really too far to the right. As soon as he was on the driver's side, he just popped out. There was no way he was going to survive. Yeah. He needed to spin the vehicle around a little bit to the left.
You can also, in that situation, I mean, it's very difficult to do, especially on PUBG Mobile. If you drive the vehicle past that kind of building, and you drive it fast enough and get out on that left-hand side, you will hit the wall and immediately lose all momentum and not die. So potentially that's what he was trying to go for, but we just don't know. This is a really good play from RIP. Sure, they lose a couple of members, but they just swarmed in on ETG knowing there was just one player left.
Yeah. You just need to play it smart in those situations. There's no point going for any bold plays, any flashy stuff. It's just not going to happen. Well, might happen, but the risk not worth the potential reward.
Not at all. And this was some really great games that we saw today from South Asia. I think there's some serious talent here. We will be seeing a bit of Group B tomorrow, I believe. Some rest of the 16 teams for us, so we can get acquainted with those guys as well.
Yeah, there's 32 teams, 24 will make it through, so you do want to be hitting the top 3 out of 4 teams, really, is what you want to be looking at for the ratio. But if you guys think you have what it takes to compete with these guys when it comes to PUBG Mobile, you can head over to the Google Play Store or the App Store, or it's just Google Play, isn't it?
Google Play and
Google
the App Store.
And the App Store, and you can download it for yourself. Give it a go, give it a try, see if you think you have the gumption, the guts, and the know-how to be able to take it down.
I mean, you've seen some excellent plays today. Try and incorporate them to your own games at home, and maybe, you can come away with that winner chicken dinner, and potentially even playing a game like this one with the big boys themselves.
Do you reckon if they played with us, they'll be playing with the big boys?
No.
Probably not.
No, I don't. We have somewhat got.
We're medium-sized
We're
boys.
medium-sized boys. We're not quite small boys, we're medium-sized boys.
It's like when you go to a restaurant and there's a large, a medium, and a small. Yeah. And the large is like, you know, like the super chunky bucket
pretty cool.
of whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've got the little one that's like 3 pieces.
That's us.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not us.
No, we're the 6-piece.
We're the 6-piece.
The 3 pieces, the little
We'll take the 6-piece.
We'll take the 6-piece. 6-piece to go.
Anyways, thank you very much for joining us today for the South Asia PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall 2019 split. It's been really, really fun games. If you want to see some more, we will be back again tomorrow. We'll be back all week, and you can catch us at 8:30 Channel East.
And if you wanna see some more PUBG Mobile, you can stick around. If you're on YouTube, it will all be streamed out on the channel. It's pretty much around the clock, and I'm not even joking. There is round the clock action coming in from PUBG Mobile.
So whenever you want, just drop it.
Just drop in, check out some of the other regions, check out some of the competition that some of these teams might face if they're able to make it to those global stages over in Kuala Lumpur.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and we will catch you very, very shortly. Goodbye and good night.